Chapter 1557. With so many giant bats, Xiaoqin could not deal with them all. Furthermore, there were a few leaders among them. This made things even more difficult. Running was the best option. However, Xiaoqian's speed was much slower than that of these ferocious beasts that grew up in the starry heavens. Their bodies needed to adapt to the environment of the starry heavens. Furthermore, the school bus had just arrived and was not used to the complicated environment of the starry heavens. Soon, a swarm of giant bats surrounded Xiaoqin. When they got closer, Xiaoqin discovered that these giant bats were nearly 10 meters long. They had sharp beaks and huge wings. The scariest thing were their claws. They were incredibly sharp and flickered with a cold light. Chi! Chi! Suddenly, these giant bats let out sharp cries at the same time. The cries were ear-piercing and unpleasant, penetrating into the depths of one's mind. Sound wave attacks. Xiaoqian's face sank. The sound wave attacks of these giant bats were not simple. They were all infused with mental energy. Most importantly, he was in the middle of the encirclement, so the giant bat sound waves were all focused on him. Just thinking about it made Xiaoqin tremble in fear. If he was not careful, he might end up an idiot, bleeding from his 7 orifices. Dragon Tone Art. Without much time to think, Xiaoqin decisively executed the Dragon Tone Art. A purple whirlpool gathered in his chest. A huge dragon image coiled above his head. At the critical moment, Xiaoqin roared ferociously. Roar! Roar! A loud dragon roar resounded. The mental energy in Xiaoqian's sea of consciousness, which far surpassed that of a regular person's, erupted with this roar. Not only did the giant bats fail to injure Xiaoqian, but they were also severely injured by the rebound of the dragon roar. It was no longer possible for the giant bats to attack Xiaoqian with sound waves. Revealing a smile, Xiaoqian looked around the encirclement and fixed his gaze on a giant bat with a golden line on its back. To capture the bandits, one had to capture the leader. Even if this group of giant bats wanted to cause trouble for Xiaoqian, they did not have the courage to do so. Whoosh! After making up his mind, Xiaoqian's figure flashed as he executed the fish dragon art and charged forward. The giant bats that pounced at him along the way were all easily dodged, leaving only broken after images. Chi! Suddenly, a gust of wind flashed in front of him. The wind was as sharp as a knife, and it scratched Xiaoqian's cheeks, leaving 2 bloody marks. Retreat! Bewildered, Xiaoqian quickly retreated. Only then did he realize that the golden-edged bat had flown over his head. What a close shave! If he hadn't dodged in time, his head would have been crushed on the spot. Just thinking about the giant bat's golden claws, which flickered with a faint light and overflowed with cold light, made one shudder. However, this also firmed up Xiaoqian's decision to kill this golden-edged bat first. After a few rounds with this golden-edged bat, Xiaoqian actually suffered a small loss. He couldn't help but shout, "Saber!" The 7 divine weapons merged together. Xiaoqian grasped the scabbard. He did not want to end up in a battle to the death, so he executed the flawless saber technique's heartbreaking stance. Xiaoqian's heart shattered, and he felt intense pain. Then, he quickly hacked out with the divine weapon. Ka-xie. Who could have imagined that the golden-edged bat's claws would firmly grab the saber in the time it took for a spark to fly? What great vital qi! Xiaoqian's expression changed slightly as he failed to draw his saber. The golden-edged bat flapped its wings, and its sharp teeth flew towards Xiaoqian, forcing him to abandon his saber. Just at this crucial moment, the golden-edged bat suddenly lost all signs of life. Xiaoqian's heartbreaking stance ignored defense, directly attacking the target's heart. At this moment, the golden-edged bat's heart shattered, dying on the spot. Ka-xie. A saber light flashed. Xiaoqian drew his divine weapon and chopped off the golden-edged bat's golden claws. When looking at the cold, golden light and sharp claws, even a fool would know that these were good items. After killing this golden-edged bat, Xiaoqian did not linger. This group of astral beasts was harder to deal with than he had imagined. If there was no need, he would not linger. Look! There is a person being chased by a group of demon-tone bats. So, it is a veritable essence stage rookie. No wonder he offended the demon-tone bats. When such astral beasts work together, even peak primal core realm experts would have to retreat. The demon-tone bats are one of the overlords of this area. This person is dead for sure. Should we save him? What's there to save? Firstly, he does not have the emblem of a sect. Secondly, he has no experience. With one look, we can tell that he is an unreliable loose cultivator. As Xiaoqin retreated, a fortress ship passed in front of him. A group of people on the ship watched the scene of him being chased. When Xiaoqin looked over, he felt somewhat startled. This fortress ship was very fast. This should be an astral ship specially made for traveling in the starry heavens. It should have formations that could adapt to the starry heavens. Xiaoqin had a rough understanding of this in the Book of the Epochs. Just as Xiaoqin was thinking, a strong aura swept over Xiaoqin. A primal core realm expert. Just as Xiaoqin was feeling bewildered, a cold snort rang out by his ear. Scram further away. Don't lead the demon-tone bats in our direction. Otherwise, this old man will take your life. Xiaoqin looked up and saw a blue-clad old man at the top of the fortress ship, looking at him coldly. It turned out that Xiaoqin was heading to the profound light world. The direction he was retreating in happened to be the same as this fortress ship. Xiaoqin was not in the mood to bother with this person, so he did not bother explaining. However, he still had to be wary of this person's strength. Xiaoqin lowered his speed. After all, it was not like he could not deal with the demon-tone bats behind him, it would just be more troublesome. On the fortress ship, a man and a woman stood behind the blue-clad old man. The man was handsome, but his lips were rather thin, and he looked somewhat fickle. The woman had some baby fat on her face, but her facial features were delicate. While she was not very pretty, she was very likable. Master, that person does not look like a bad person. We can save him, the woman whispered as she looked into the distance, at Xiaoqin, who was slowly disappearing from her vision. The young man smiled and said, Junior sister, you are too young. With one look, it is clear that this person is deliberately leading the demon-tone bats in our direction. If we save him, we will fall into his trap. Then, we will take the opportunity to leave. If he is more malicious, he might even take advantage of the situation to rob us. But master, how can a primal core realm expert fear a veritable essence stage cultivator? The woman argued, but she did not have much confidence. The blue-clad old man sighed and said, Fair, your senior brother is right. At such a time, it is better to avoid trouble. With your character, I am really worried about how you will compete with others when you go to Profoundine Island. Master, don't worry. Luo Nan will definitely protect junior sister well. The young man immediately stepped forward and expressed his stance. However, the blue-clad old man shook his head and did not say anything. If you go to Profoundine Island, you might not even be able to protect yourself. Why the need to boast? The blue-clad old man did not think much of these two disciples. One was strong but soft-hearted. The other was biting off more than he could chew and was too arrogant. However, it was good for him to temper himself. The competition within the sect was still gentler. Outside the sect, suffering a little was good, tempering his character. 3 days later, the blue-clad old man delayed Xiaoqin for a while, so he simply stopped fleeing. He fought as he retreated, tempering his combat experience in the starry heavens and adapting to the environment of the starry heavens, as well as the higher-level space of this great world. By relying on the fish-dragon art, Xiaoqin could make thousands of changes in an instant, moving like a fish in water. Xiaoqin killed the 3 leaders of the demon-tone bats one after another. Not a single one of the ordinary demon-tone bats managed to escape. The vast magic energy in Xiaoqian's sea of consciousness turned into mental energy, which he sent out through the dragon-tone art. This allowed him to not fear the demon-tone bats' killing sonic attacks. As Xiaochen recuperated on the cycle throne, he thought about his war trophies. There were many pairs of demon tone bat claws. There were even 4 pairs of golden claws, the claws of the demon tone bat leaders. These claws were tougher and sharper, like divine materials. More accurately, they were of a higher quality than the divine materials of the Kunlun realm. Based on that primal core expert's tone, he seemed to fear these demon tone bats. Even primal core experts fear these demon tone bats. It seems like I can make use of them. When Xiaochen thought of an idea, he took out a carving knife and a pair of demon tone bat claws. Then, he slowly started carving. After another 7 days, Xiaochen recovered to his peak state. He frowned slightly as he was carving the demon tone bats and stopped what he was doing. A gentle breeze blew in front, and the 7 divine weapons protecting the throne buzzed and trembled. This aura, there are primal core cultivators fighting in the distance. Xiaochen stood up and gently tapped his forehead with a finger. The heavenly eye flew out and hovered in the air, watching from afar. After a while, when Xiaochen saw the situation of the battle, his lips curled up in a smile. It was a small world. The fortress ship from 10 days ago ran into astral starry heaven's pirates. Chapter 1558. With the observation of the heavenly eye, Xiaochen could see every movement in the distance. There was a smaller pirate ship in front of the ship that the blue-clad old man was on, but it was even faster. The bow of the ship rose, and a black scimitar banner hung on it. The entire ship was covered in sharp edges. This was especially so for the bow, which was as sharp as a knife. Although this ship was small, it was much faster than the other ship. It was also nimble. No matter how the other ship changed directions, the other ship could not shake off the pirate ship. The other ship was even forced to keep kicking back. Clearly, the two had been fighting for a long time already. Only then did Xiaochen catch up. Otherwise, given Xiaochen's speed, he would not have been able to catch up to the blue-clad old man's ship. Xiaochen's eyes lit up as he looked at the pirate ship, revealing a fervent expression. Master, is there any way to deal with this black scimitar pirate group? We have already been hiding for 2 days, but we still cannot avoid them, the young disciple, Luo Nan, asked with a somewhat grave expression beside the blue-clad old man. The black scimitar pirate group was one of the 10 strongest pirate groups in the nearby starry domain. The blue-clad old man said, I'll go and talk to them. Brothers of the black scimitar pirate group, this old man is a 2nd-generation elder of the Tianyi sect. Can you give the Tianyi sect some face and not make things difficult for us? Otherwise, our Tianyi sect is not that easy to bully. The Tianyi sect was one of the stronger sects in the vicinity. The sect had a spirit light venerate, who surpassed the core cloud realm, holding down the fort. However, it was not a local sect of the profound light great realm. Although the Tianyi sect was rather far away, it still had some prestige. If the Tianyi sect was smart, this pirate group would probably give it some face. Ha ha ha. This old man is not blind. I saw your Tianyi sect's banner long ago. Cut the crap. If you want to pass through here, hand over 100,000 spirit jades. Otherwise, this old man will have to go far away. A black-clad man holding a scimitar laughed maniacally on the pirate ship. Whoosh! 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 30-odd people charged out from behind this black-clad man. All of them were at least veritable essence stage. Many of them were at the Yin essence stage or Yang essence stage. There was even one person who had reached the half-step primal core realm. The veritable personage realm consisted of 3 stages: veritable essence stage, Yin essence stage, and Yang essence stage. The strength of the pirates on this pirate ship could be considered quite elite, comparable to some small sections. This was especially so for the black-clad man. He was at least a late-stage minor primal core realm cultivator. 100,000 spiritual jades. You must be a maple, right? Let me tell you, it's impossible. A trace of killing chi flashed on the blue-clad old man's face. He said sullenly, just a mere pirate, and yet you dare to be so arrogant. Ha ha ha, then let's cut the crap and kill all of them. The pirate leader revealed a sinister smile and shouted. The pirates on the pirate ship laughed strangely and charged out. All of a sudden, the cultivators of both sides quickly exchanged blows in the air. A huge battle could break out at any moment. Xiao! Xiaochen withdrew the heavenly eye and revealed a doubtful expression. This pirate leader seemed to have another purpose. It didn't seem like a robbery. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come up with an unacceptable price. I don't care about that. The grudges between the two sides have nothing to do with me. It's that pirate ship. Xiaochen suddenly had an idea. When he saw the speed of the ship earlier, he was already somewhat envious. Then, he thought about how his cycle throne was like a tortoise compared to that ship. Compared to that pirate ship, it was like a snail. The core of an astral warship is the formation, followed by the warship materials. If I can obtain the formation and modify the cycle throne, is there a chance? Opportunities came from fighting. If one fought, there would be. If one did not fight, there would be no chance at all. After making up his mind, Xiaochen made up his mind. Then, he quickly headed for the place where the two sides fought. At the place where the battle was taking place, both sides were somewhat anxious. On the whole, the Black Scimitar pirate group held the advantage. Furthermore, their numbers were continuously expanding. The blue-clad old man was very strong, practically suppressing the pirate leader. His combat style was ruthless and decisive, and he was extremely experienced. However, the situation of the disciples on the ship was somewhat unsightly. It was simply a one-sided massacre. They cried out miserably whenever they felt any pain. As for those pirates, they laughed strangely. These people, who kept their heads turned around, had a frighteningly ruthless combat style. The more injured they were, the stronger their baleful auras became. Fortunately, the two disciples of the blue-clad old man held on to the ship's side. Otherwise, they would not be completely defeated. Xiaochen glanced at the situation of the battle. Then, his gaze fell on the pirate ship. Senior brother, look. Isn't that the white-clad bladesman being chased by the demon-tone bats? The girl named Fei exclaimed when she saw Xiaochen's figure. Her eyes lit up. Junior sister, look. Isn't that the white-clad bladesman being chased by the demon-tone bats? The thin-lipped man did not believe it. However, when he saw Xiaochen's figure, he was somewhat stunned, nearly getting injured by the pirates. Damn! Am I seeing things? To think that he is still alive after being chased by the demon-tone bats. Even primal core realm cultivators cannot endure the sonic attacks of the demon-tone bats. They will end up hallucinating and severely injure their mental energy. The blue-clad old man, who was fighting with the pirate leader, also saw Xiaochen. Hope immediately ignited in this experienced old man. A person who could escape from the demon-tone bats was definitely not simple. Perhaps he could tip the balance. Young hero, will you lend us a hand? Our Tianyi sect will definitely thank you heavily in the future. The blue-clad old man had completely forgotten that he had misunderstood Xiaochen and told him to scram far away. Xiaochen did not care about the blue-clad old man, continuing to fly forward as if he did not hear what the old man said at all. Ha ha ha. Interesting. To think that you treat a veritable essence stage bladesman as a treasure. However, what's more interesting is that he did not abandon you. Ha ha ha. When the black-clad man saw the situation, he started laughing loudly. However, the black-clad man only laughed halfway before he could continue. Xiaochen flew straight towards his pirate ship. Damn it! How dare he target my precious ship? Quickly, go and get a few brothers to chop him up. He is just an insignificant veritable essence stage bladesman. Is he tired of living? Immediately, 3 of the pirates fighting on the ship heard their leader's orders. Then, they immediately flew out and chased after Xiaochen. The blue-clad old man revealed a confused look in his eyes. He could not figure out Xiaochen's intentions. What is he doing? Going to the pirate ship? Isn't that just sending himself to death? There were still experts stationed on the pirate ship. "Brat, stop right there." Of the 3 pirates chasing Xiao Chen, the one who specialized in speed was the first to charge over. Then, he quickly hacked down with his saber. Ka-cia. When the saber light landed, Xiao Chen shattered into pieces. Before this pirate could rejoice, he discovered that he had struck only an afterimage. What fast speed! The 3 pirates were startled, their hearts thumping wildly. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen dodged this saber strike so calmly. The pirate whose saber light missed looked at the shattered afterimages in front and was stunned for a moment. Die! Suddenly, a figure charged out of the shattered afterimages in the air. This figure was like a sharp saber, giving off an unparalleled sharpness. Before this pirate could react, he got punched. 2 cauldron force, together with the great Dao might, instantly exploded. The pirate corpse was covered in shattered bones, turning into a clump of blood mist. An essence stage cultivator. It seems like, he is not much. Xiao Chen muttered to himself as he withdrew his fist light. Right now, Xiao Chen urgently needed to figure out his strength. However, this was clearly not the time yet. Old 7. The 2 pirates behind were greatly startled. They could not accept this. Old 7 died, just like that. Xiao Chen glanced over indifferently. However, he did not care so much. He gently waved his sleeves. And somersaulted in the air, spreading his arms and continuing to fly towards the pirate ship. This scene shocked many of the people present. No one had expected this white-robed bladesman to kill an essence stage cultivator so easily. Senior brother, he does not seem to be an ordinary veritable essence stage cultivator. A bright light flashed in Fei Er's eyes as she exclaimed in pleasant surprise, "Perhaps he can help us." Stop dreaming. No matter what, he is still a veritable essence stage loose cultivator. If you go to the pirate ship, there is a half-step primal core expert guarding it. You will die for sure. However, he can indeed help us attract some islands, Luo Nan said indifferently, not showing any emotion. Xiao Chen easily dodged the attacks of the 2 pirates. Soon, he landed on the deck of the pirate ship. Boom! The 2 pirates behind panted slightly as they landed heavily, kicking up a cloud of dust. Then, they shielded Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's eyes lit up as he looked at the skinny bladesman on the left. He said, "A young essence stage cultivator. Not bad. I can feel baleful yang energy in your body. You are really not afraid of death. You do not show any fear when you see the 2 of us," the skinny man emphasized his words as he looked at Xiao Chen with a surging murderous intent. Xiao Chen shook his head slightly. "The 2 of you. You have the strength, but your aura is not enough to scare me." Right after Xiao Chen spoke, an overwhelming aura suddenly surged out from his body. During his 20-odd years in the Kunlun realm, Xiao Chen had experienced many trials and tribulations. The so-called aura was a reflection of a person's experience and mental state. Xiao Chen's mental state was far from what the 2 before him could compare to. As for experience, Xiao Chen was a legend in the Kunlun realm. How could these 2 weaklings compare to him? The moment Xiao Chen's strong aura appeared, the invisible aura put immense pressure on the 2 pirates, forcing them to take a few steps back involuntarily. Xiao Chen revealed a mocking smile as he said coldly, "You are full of openings. No matter how high your cultivation is, it is useless." Chapter 1559. For a person to have a strong aura, they either had a truly noble background or had experienced the vicissitudes of life amidst a storm of blood, experiencing all sorts of joys and sorrows, becoming a legend. Clearly, Xiao Chen was the latter. Such an aura was even more oppressive than that of those with noble backgrounds. The 2 Black Scimitar pirate group members standing in front of Xiao Chen trembled slightly. The pressure they felt was even greater than when they faced their boss. "Stop trying to mystify us, you insignificant veritable essence stage bladesman." The young essence stage pirate on the left suppressed the fear in his heart and shouted ferociously. Then, he drummed up his courage and charged at Xiao Chen. Do you think that bluffing and deceiving others and yourself can boost your courage? Xiao Chen revealed a disdainful smile. The other party attacked like the wind, possessing a strong aura. However, the other party's footsteps were messy, his expression nervous, and his heart flustered. If Xiao Chen stood still, there would be fewer openings. If he moved, there would be more openings. In the time it took for a spark to fly, the other party's saber light was about to chop down. Xiao Chen's figure flashed, leaving behind an afterimage on the ground. In the next moment, a leg appeared. Xiao Chen's foot moved past the other party and accurately kicked the other party's chin, finding many openings in his saber move. Ka-xie. The pirate flew into the air. When he landed, he sprawled on the ground and twitched continuously. However, he did not get up again. The remaining Yin Essence stage pirate was frightened silly. He actually fled, no longer daring to block Xiao Chen's path. Naturally, there was no need to bother with these so-called nobodies. Although these pirates had pretty good cultivations, their mental states were far inferior to Xiao Chen's. It was like a beggar meeting the crown prince of a dynasty. No matter how strong the beggar was, he would be intimidated by the latter's aura and become fearful. Xiao Chen kicked open the ship's door and walked in without hesitation. He entered. This white-robed bladesman charged into the Black Scimitar pirate group's ship. How can this be? How can this veritable essence stage fellow be so heaven-defying? Such a scene shocked not only the Tianyi sect disciples. Even the group of pirates was incredibly shocked, wondering if they were seeing things. Fei Er smiled and said, "Senior brother, like I said, this white-robed bladesman is not simple. Look, he has already entered the hold." Luo Nan thought to himself, if it were me, I could deal with these three pirates. However, it would be hard to say if they wanted to be as relaxed as Xiao Chen. Humph. He is seeking death. There will definitely be half-step primal core experts guarding the control room of the warship. Bunch of trash. You cannot even block an insignificant veritable essence stage bladesman. A bunch of trash. You can't even block an insignificant veritable essence stage bladesman. How dare you? The pirate leader, who was currently fighting with the blue-clad old man, was so angered that his entire body trembled. He wished that he could personally go over and kill Xiao Chen. Xiao spirit. Of fighting, he, and said, he, and, he, one and, he, of, blood, and of, old ghost, don't be too pleased with yourself. My second brother is guarding the ship. He's seeking his own death. I don't need to send more people. The black-clothed man was in a bad mood, and said with resentment. At this moment, the situation was delicate, no longer like before. The blue-clad old man said sullenly, in that case, let's see if your subordinates kill my disciples faster or if I defeat you faster. As long as either side ended the battle, the victor would immediately be decided. Now that the three pirates were gone, the pressure on the Tianyi sect's disciples was much more relaxed. Most importantly, Luo Nan and Fei Er, these two outstanding talents of the Tianyi sect, were far stronger than those of the same cultivation realm. After familiarizing himself with the pirates' fighting style, his true strength was slowly being unleashed. The internal structure of the pirate society was unique. More than 10 rooms of different sizes with various purposes were created. Xiao Chen headed straight for the core control room. His spiritual consciousness had already sensed that there was a half-step core cloud realm cultivator in the control room. The dragon blood soul-breaking finger silently accumulated power as he hurried along. Xiao Chen was not prepared to clash with a half-step primal core realm expert. This was not the time either. Killing in one strike and then quickly obtaining the core formation was the way to go. Ka-xie. Xiao Chen kicked open the doors to the control room. A rather young, middle-aged man in the room looked at Xiao Chen coldly. The youths these days are getting bolder. To think that an insignificant veritable essence stage cultivator dares to target our Black Scimitar pirate's ship. The middle-aged man shouted ferociously. Then, he waved his hand and charged at Xiao Chen. Baleful yin energy and baleful yang energy slowly flowed around his palm, forming a subtle balance. His body also entered a certain balance, becoming compatible with the world. When the middle-aged man leaped up, the entire space moved with him, putting immense pressure on Xiao Chen. Whoosh! The middle-aged man moved very fast, not intending to give Xiao Chen any time to catch his breath, preparing to court death. However, a finger stretched out in the time it took for a spark to fly. A scarlet light flickered on the fingertip. A Soul Dao martial technique. Panic flashed in the middle-aged man's eyes. He wanted to retreat quickly, but he was already very fast in the first place. Retreating was easier said than done. Xiao Chen only stretched out his finger and tapped the middle-aged man's forehead. It looked like the middle-aged man offered himself up. The eyes of the second-in-command of the pirate group slowly dimmed. His soul was severely injured. To think that he did not die on the spot. The soul of a half-step primal core realm expert was extraordinarily resilient. Startled, Xiao Chen lowered his arm and clenched his palm into a fist. Then, he punched the second-in-command's dantian with 2 cauldron force. Bang! A hole appeared in the roof of the control room. The second-in-command vomited a mouthful of blood as he got knocked back. Second brother. The pirate leader, who was fighting with the blue-clad old man, happened to see this scene. When he saw his second brother get knocked back, he showed no signs of life. The pirate leader immediately went berserk, utterly enraged. How can this be? My second brother is a half-step primal core realm cultivator. He cannot do anything to an insignificant veritable essence stage bladesman. Return to the ship. All of you, return to the ship and kill that brat. The black-clad man was no longer in the mood to continue fighting. He called out, and the pirates on the ship scattered back to their pirate ships. A light flickered in the blue-clad old man's eyes. Actually, he could have kept the pirate leader here. However, the experienced and astute him chose to give up. Master, a half-step primal core realm expert died on the pirates' side. Let's call second martial uncle out and kill all these pirates. There was also a half-step primal core realm expert guarding the control room on the ship. Luo Nan immediately suggested after he arrived beside the blue-clad old man. Master, let's make a move. If we still don't, that white-clad bladesman who saved us will die. The blue-clad old man's expression did not change. He ignored Luo Nan's impulse and Fei Er's anxiety. He said indifferently, it is not time yet. I need to watch first. Inside the control room, Xiao Chen knew everything that happened outside like the back of his hand. Life bestowal spell. With a soft cry, many demon tone bat sculptures flew out of the control room. There were more than 20 of them. Finally, there was even a golden demon tone bat. Boss, it's the demon tone bats. There are so many demon tone bats. There are even chief-level demon tone bats. When the pirates who just landed on the ship saw a group of demon tone bats suddenly fly out, they were all frightened silly and retreated in a fluster. A few pirates were too slow. The demon tone bats' sharp claws dug deep into their chests, breaking a few ribs on the spot. Blood spurted out, and the pirates were in so much pain that they wanted to die. Chi! Chi! The golden demon tone bat appeared, and its sharp claws dug deep into the roof of the pirate ship. The other demon tone bats stood in a row around it, squeaking strangely. It was like a bucket of cold water had been poured over the enraged black-clad man, his heart instantly turning cold. Demon tone bats. Damn it! Since when did my pirate ship become a bat nest? A strange look flashed in the blue-clad old man's eyes. At this moment, he finally made a move, charging out with a half-step primal core realm expert and a Tianyi sect disciple. The blue-clad old man spoke righteously, appearing very righteous. He shouted, Black Scimitar, today is the day you pirates die. Chapter 1560. In the core control room of the pirate ship, Xiao Chen forcefully pried open the deck, and the starship's formation appeared before Xiao Chen's eyes. Xiao Qin was immediately dazzled, unable to take it all in. The formation below the deck flickered with light. The formation was no more than 100 meters wide. It actually had more than 10,000 nodes. There were other formations within the formation, all interconnected, formations within formations. Every node had a spirit jade in it. The pirate ship did not look very big. At the core of the formation, there was an exquisitely shaped formation plate engraved with complicated patterns. This formation plate was definitely the work of a grandmaster. Activating it would require a significant amount of resources. A total of 10,000 spirit jades. Who knew how long it would last? I miscalculated. I should not have blasted that fellow to death. Xiao Qin frowned slightly. This formation was very complicated. He could not figure it out immediately. It would be great if Imo-chan were here. Given her attainments in formations, she would be able to figure it out with a few glances. However, there should be a formation diagram in this control room. Such a complicated formation would be very troublesome to repair. Xiao Qin muttered to himself as he rubbed his chin with his right hand. His gaze swept across the control room, searching for the hidden mechanism or the hidden interlayer. After a while, Xiao Qin discovered something. He found a wooden box in a secret compartment under the control panel. After opening it, there were 3 formation diagrams and a detailed star chart. The star chart included not only the purple sun region but also the nearby astral domains. Good stuff. The star chart that Big Brother Long gave me is already very old. This star chart is really perfect. Xiao Qin studied it and was surprised to discover that this star chart had markings of the nearby trade routes. There were also records of the valuable stars, remnants, and resources on the stars. It truly lives up to being a star chart used by pirates. It is really detailed. Now, it is mine. Xiao Qin smiled faintly and placed it in his universe ring. Then, he looked at the formation diagram. It was indeed complicated. Every formation diagram was folded, and there were a total of 3. After putting away the formation diagram, Xiao Qin sized up the formation below. Then, he took out the formation plate. Immediately, the flickering light disappeared, and the formation came to a stop. It is indeed a good item. Just the materials alone are extraordinary, Xiao Qin commented bluntly as he held the array plate and sensed it. Next up was the spirit jades on the nodes. 10,000 spirit jades was not a small sum. Although Xiao Qin had 2 million spirit jades on him, such things did not appear to be a lot. Boss, something happened to our ship. The pirates fighting the Tianyi sect were greatly startled as they spoke in a fluster. The pirate ship's spirituality had completely disappeared, and some of the glowing water chestnuts had stopped flashing. The entire ship shook violently in the starry sky. My ship! The pirate leader's lungs were about to explode. The Black Scimitar pirate group, which ran amok in this region, actually had their ship hijacked. This would definitely become the greatest joke among their peers. However, they could only watch helplessly as the demon-tone bats guarded the ship's hold. Although these pirates were angry, they did not dare to say anything. Furthermore, there was still the Tianyi sect's large-scale counterattack. This group of pirates could neither advance nor retreat. All sorts of loud sounds came from the ship's hold. The strong pirate ship shook continuously in the starry sky. No one knew what was happening inside. However, no one knew that it was definitely not a good thing. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. The black-clad man was so frustrated that he wanted to vomit blood. His movements were disrupted, and several wounds appeared on his body. The pirates' morale plummeted, and they persisted bitterly, losing their initial ferocity. Following a loud explosion, the hull of the ship collapsed, and the deck began to peel off non-stop. The perfectly fine pirate ship became bare, leaving only the outline of the ship's skeleton. Pu-ci. When the black-clad man saw his treasured ship in such a state, he could not help vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. He finally understood what Xiao Qin was doing. Xiao Qin was using brute force to tear apart the valuable parts of his ship, piece by piece. Now, Xiaoqin met with someone even more ruthless than him. Brat, Hu Fei, will not share the same sky with you. During the intense battle, the pirate leader took some time to glance at Xiaoqin. Then, he became so angry that his entire body trembled. Xiaoqin did not hear what the pirate leader said at all. He held his chin and looked at the skeleton that made up the ship. Suddenly, the pirate leader's eyes lit up. He nodded slightly and reached out to touch a branch. That was the backbone of the entire ship, the most important support point. How many resources had been expended to forge this skeleton? The pirate leader knew this the best. Crack! Xiaoqin pulled hard, and the entire ship's skeleton shattered, instantly falling apart. Xiaoqin tore apart a perfectly good ship just like that. Before the pirate leader finished speaking, the blue-clad old man took advantage of this opportunity to strike the pirate leader's chest. The pirate leader sent the blue-clad old man flying. Then, he looked at Xiaoqin and said in a trembling voice, "You are ruthless. You are ruthless." Since the situation was already over, the pirate leader did not dare to linger. The surviving pirates scattered in all directions, fleeing miserably in the starry heavens. After chasing away the pirates, the many Tianyi sect disciples and the two elders looked at Xiaoqin in silence, deeply shocked. It was hard to imagine that this white-clad bladesman before them forcefully tore apart the Black Scimitar pirate group's pirate ship. "Senior brother, should we take him down? He should have the formation diagram of the pirate ship on him. If we refine the many parts of the pirate ship, they will be invaluable divine materials." The half-step primal core realm old man beside the blue-clad old man sent a voice projection as a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. "Don't get anxious. I originally wanted to let those pirates go back and deal with him." Who knew? A group of demon-toned bats flew out. "This fellow is somewhat strange." The blue-clad old man's eyes flickered. After a while, he arrived before Xiaoqin with a wide smile. "I really have to thank you for allowing the Tianyi sect to escape danger this time. Would you like to come to my Tianyi sect's ship and have a chat?" The blue-clad old man asked very enthusiastically. Xiaoqin smiled coldly in his heart as he carefully put away the bone structure in his hand. Xiaoqin intended to use the pirate ship's formation to upgrade the cycle throne. He came up with the idea on the spur of the moment and dismantled the entire pirate ship. Unexpectedly, the harvest was bountiful, far surpassing his expectations. As for this old man before him, Xiaoqin just smiled at him. After so many years in the Kunlun realm, he had seen all sorts of people. Xiaoqin clearly knew what the blue-clad old man was thinking. The other party's tricks were not very clever. That's not good, right? I wonder where that group of demon-toned bats flew off to. Who knows when they will fly out again? At that time, someone will tell me to scram again. Xiaoqin said indifferently with a cold expression. He was not a fool to board the ship. The blue-clad old man smiled awkwardly. "It's a misunderstanding. Earlier, I thought that young hero wanted to harm this ship. It really was a misunderstanding." "That's right. My master is a good person. Now that you saved us, come on up and have a seat. Come on up and have a seat. You are going to the profound light great realm, right? We can bring you up." The girl with some baby fat, Fei invited Xiaoqin. "Junior sister, why are you being so polite to him? Master invited him out of goodwill, yet he is putting on airs. If he is not coming, then so be it," the thin-lipped man, Luo Nan, mocked as he rolled his eyes at Xiaoqin. "Goodbye." After all, the other party was a primal core realm expert. Even if he harbored evil intentions, Xiaoqin could not afford to offend him. Waving his hand, Xiaoqin turned to leave. "Wait." The blue-clad old man seemed to have made up his mind about something, suddenly calling out to Xiaoqin. The wary Xiaoqin did not rush to turn around. He only prepared for the dragon blood soul-breaking finger as he silently executed the divine lightning eye. What a strong wariness. The blue-clad old man noticed Xiaoqin's wariness and felt slightly startled. However, he did not intend to attack Xiaochen. The blue-clad old man feared those elusive demon-tone bats. Before he figured out what was going on, he would not take the risk. You saved the lives of our entire ship. This old man has nothing to repay you for. However, I know a place with extremely high-quality baleful energy. I can tell you about it. The moment the blue-clad old man said that, the disciples of the Tianyi sect and that old man were all shocked. They could not understand why the blue-clad old man would tell such a secret to an outsider. Peak-grade baleful energy. Xiaochen's heart skipped a beat as he thought quickly. Even though he knew that the other party did not have good intentions, he did not dare to act rashly. Although he knew that the other party did not have good intentions, the other party's offer had indeed tempted him. Agree? Or not? Chapter 1561. No problem, no problem. You can stay on this ship for the time being. Venerable meant that he was an expert worthy of respect. In order to have a chance to become a true god in the future, one had to build a good foundation in order to become a true god. Isn't that obvious? With a single glance, one could tell that he was a wandering cultivator without a sect. If they were from a righteous sect, they would have reported their names long ago. Fei happily agreed. After her master left, she looked at Xiaochen and asked impatiently, "Big brother Xiaochen, which great realm are you from? Which sect are you from? You are very strong." Perhaps Xiaochen wanted Fei and Luo Nan to interact more with Xiaochen because he wanted to use this opportunity to investigate his origins. When the other party raised his hand, it felt as though he was fused with space itself. With a single leap, it felt as though the entire surrounding space was lifted up by the other party. The enlightened being realm was divided into 3 small realms: true essence, yin essence, and yang essence. Only by combining the 3 essences and forming an inner core could one enter this realm. When Fei saw Xiaochen hesitating, she kindly reminded him. As for primal core realm experts, even if they used their trump cards, they would not be able to harm their opponent. The blue-clad old man smiled and said, "Young hero is right. This old man can only help you to this extent. After all, how can such a resource be without an owner?" When Luo Nan heard this, he felt upset. This junior sister seemed to be overly concerned about this fellow. Profound Island was a land of fortuitous encounters. There were many high-quality baleful energy hidden in the depths of the earth vein. There were even peak-grade baleful energy. However, fiend resources were limited. Ordinary disciples could only rely on essence stones. However, some of the best essence stones were not much worse than qi. According to the rules of the Jianghu, one had to be outside. Unless the other party brought it up on their own initiative, they were not allowed to inquire about the other party's background. It was considered a taboo. Xiaochen laughed bitterly in his heart when he saw the other party's innocent eyes. After thinking for a while, he opened his mouth and said, "All right, I will thank Elder first." Yin essence stones and yang essence stones were very valuable treasures in the perfected being realm. The supreme grade baleful energy was too important to him. Xiaochen was very clever and immediately understood. He looked at the blue-clad old man and said, "You want me to pretend to be a Tianyi sect disciple and enter Profound Island. The reason is because of you. Just like you said, don't ask about other people's origins unless they are willing." Xiaochen, in particular, respected him very much. "It's fine. Brother Luo Nan is too polite." "Miss Fei, actually, your senior brother is right. If someone isn't willing to expose their own clan, they must have some misgivings." The blue-clad old man smiled calmly and said, "I still have a small request. Wherever there is a baleful energy, there will be essence stones. You only need to absorb the baleful energy. I will leave the essence stones for the other disciples to use." Back then, for the sake of this profound island, the various sects fought each other. It was not easy to come up with this compromise. If not for his opponent's carelessness and the fact that he had coincidentally collided with his dragon blood soul-breaking finger, the outcome of that battle would have been hard to say. When the half-step Primal Core Realm pirate second-in-command made a move on the pirate ship, Xiaochen knew that he was not a match for him. Xiaochen frowned slightly and asked, "What do you mean?" "Big brother Xiaochen, just agree. My master is sincerely repaying you. Senior brother Luo Nan and I also have to hand over essence stones to the sect. In fact, this pirate ship incident might even have something to do with it. However, this profound island did not belong to the Tianyi sect alone." At the same time, the blue-clad old man and the half-step Primal Core Realm expert drank tea and chatted in a tea hall within the ship. The focus was on Xiaochen, who was wandering around on the deck. Xiaochen remained calm and collected, silently dispersing the divine lightning eye and the dragon blood soul-breaking finger. The blue-clad old man before Xiaochen was strong and shrewd with age. Interacting with this old man was like asking a tiger for its skin. If one was not careful, one would end up getting eaten. The blue-clad old man pointed to Fei and Luo Nan. Then, he said, "This year, Fei and Nan did well, standing out in the competition between their sect members and obtaining the right to go to Profound Island. Senior brother, why did you give this fellow such benefits? He is not from a sect, has no one to rely on, and is decisive in killing. With one look, it is clear that he is a loose cultivator." 1 hour later, Xiaochen understood the ins and outs of the matter. As for half-step Primal Core Realm cultivators, if they did not use Dermic World, the Divine Lightning Eye, the Ice Blood Lightning Dragon, and the Dragon Blood Soul-Breaking Finger, it would be hard to say who would win. It was best to absorb peak-grade Baleful Yin energy and peak-grade Baleful Yang energy in the Yin Cloud Realm in the Yang Essence stage. Xiaochen turned around and looked at the blue-clad old man. "It is rare for senior to be so kind. This junior does indeed need peak-grade Baleful Yin energy to advance to the Yin Essence stage. As the saying went, in order to become a god, one had to first become a human. Of the billions of cultivators, only 10% could break through to the mortal realm. Those who could break through to the innate realm were even fewer." The half-step Primal Core Realm expert was still brooding, not understanding the blue-clad old man's actions. "It's that simple." Xiaochen remained silent. It seemed like he had not seen such a naive girl for a long time already. As long as the other party had a chance, she could kill him at any time. Xiaochen smiled, not minding it. His eyes could understand the ways of the world. Instead, the islands were managed by the surrounding large sections. At this time every year, the various large sects would send out veritable Essence Stage or in Essence Stage outstanding talents to compete on the islands. "Senior brother, how can you say that?" Fei said angrily. "Master wants us to properly entertain our honored guests. Quickly apologize." Fei seemed to understand, but not really. After a while, she nodded and smiled. "Big brother Xiaochen, you really know a lot. With one look, I can tell that you are a good person." On this trip, Xiaochen wanted to go to a star close to the profound light great realm. Xiaochen already made up his mind to take a risk. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen boarded the ship with Xiaochen. The three casually walked on the deck, admiring the scenery of the boundless starry heavens in the night sky. The Tianyi sect disciples on the deck all respected the three. The blue-clad old man did not care. He laughed straightforwardly and stood up. "Fei Nan, you are all cultivators of the same generation. You can interact with them. At the same time, help me properly entertain them. Your martial uncle and I will take our leave first. In my opinion, they are no weaker than the elite disciples of those rank 2 sections." The blue-clad old man was a Primal Core Realm expert. What was the Primal Core Realm? Luo Nan asked sarcastically, not waiting for Xiaochen to reply. Luo Nan's words angered his junior sister. To Xiaochen, it meant that he knew a lot and was definitely a good person. Done. The blue-clad old man spoke casually. However, Xiaochen could feel the bloodshed in his words. Cultivators who could reach this level could be called venerates in the Great Thousand Realms. Breaking through to the veritable personage realm and becoming a primal core realm expert was worthy of respect, regardless of one's age. Luo Nan felt upset in his heart. However, he still said reluctantly, "Sorry, I was too rash earlier. Brother Xiao Chen, please don't take offense." As Luo Nan looked at the other party, the hidden meaning in Xiao Chen's words was very straightforward. "Are you that nice?" The female disciple named Fei smiled politely at Xiao Chen when she heard that. However, Luo Nan feigned indifference, not moving at all. Since ancient times, riches and honor came from danger. This person who dismantled the Black Scimitar pirate's ship with his bare hands was filled with mystery in their eyes. The blue-clad old man was an experienced person. Aside from asking for Xiao Chen's name, he did not say anything else. "We should just directly kill such an existence. He definitely has the formation diagram of the pirate ship on him. That is something worth cities." The blue-clad old man smiled and said, "That's easy. Please come on board for a chat. I will tell you in detail." There was an island on that star called Profound Een Island. "What is this?" When Luo Nan heard that, he nearly vomited blood. These words were not an exaggeration at all. The sect had a Cloud Sea powerhouse, who surpassed the primal core realm, holding down the fort. It turned out that this Tianyi sect came from the Enlightened Great Realm, a rank 1 sect that bordered the Profound Light Great Realm. The blue-clad old man waved his hand and said, "Young hero, please do not misunderstand. This matter is rather complicated." Now, Xiao Chen more or less understood what he understood. Ordinary Een Essence Stage and Yang Essence Stage cultivators would not be a match for him unless he was an outstanding talent of a sect. Chapter 1562. The blue-clad old man said indifferently, "Junior brother, you still do not see things clearly enough. Although this Xiao Chen is only a veritable Essence Stage cultivator, he has an extraordinary air about him. Think about it. How would a regular veritable Essence Stage cultivator behave when they see the two of us?" The half-step primal core realm expert quickly said, "They would definitely be very respectful and amiable. It is normal for them to try to suck up to us if they feel uncomfortable." Before a veritable Essence Stage cultivator, a primal core realm cultivator was a godlike existence. The blue-clad old man nodded. "What about him?" "He is neither servile nor overbearing, extremely calm. With one look, it is clear that he is someone who has seen a lot of things. Such a person either has a noble background or has experienced many things. He looks young, so it cannot be the latter. It can only be the former. Could he be a rank 2 sect disciple or a noble clan disciple?" The half-step primal core realm old man was startled when he heard that. If that was the case, then they could not touch him. If they touched someone with a deep background, then the consequences, yes, and no. "Senior brother, what do you mean?" The blue-clad old man smiled strangely. "It is true that he comes from a noble clan. However, look at him. He cannot even find a good baleful Een energy, wandering the starry heavens alone. Is there such a noble clan? Then? Senior brother, stop beating around the bush. Just say what you want to say." The blue-clad old man smiled and said, "Ha ha ha. In that case, I'll say it directly. He is indeed a noble clan disciple, but his clan should be in dire straits. It is more likely that it was destroyed. That's why he is wandering the starry heavens, hiding from his enemies." The half-step primal core realm old man's eyes lit up. After a while, he gave a thumbs up and said, "Senior brother, you can even guess that. You are amazing." Given this, it explained why Xiao Chen could kill the second-in-command of the pirate group. How could such a fallen disciple not have any life-saving trump cards? This also explained why Xiao Chen's aura and bearing came from. Noble clan disciples had seen many experts since they were young. How could they be so respectful to 2 primal core realm cultivators? This was also why these disciples in dire straits had more treasures than ordinary loose cultivators. Just the formation diagram and formation plate of the pirate ship were enough for the two to make a move against Xiao Chen. Furthermore, there was Xiao Chen's identity. No matter how one looked at it, this white-robed bladesman was a fat lamb. The blue-clad old man smiled in an unfathomable manner. I'll get Fei and Luo Nan to interact more with him. Youths should be less wary of each other. We should be able to get some information. In that case, why did we send him to Profoundine Island? If his strength increases, it will be disadvantageous to us. The blue-clad old man smiled and said, "You do not understand this. If we let him go to Profoundine Island, he can help us collect essence stones for free. This can be considered our contributions to the sect. Secondly, the intense competition on Profoundine Island will definitely exhaust many of his trump cards. How much can he improve? If I wasn't worried about his trump card, I could have easily crushed him." The half-step primal core realm old man smiled and said, "Excellent. Senior brother, with such meticulous planning, even if that Xiaochen had 9 heads, he would not be able to escape your grasp." Humph. This kind of person is already in decline, yet he is still proud and arrogant, believing himself infallible. He is the one who refuses to recognize reality. Now that he ran into me, I can teach him a lesson. A greedy look flashed in the blue-clad old man's eyes as he spoke in a cold voice. As the saying went, the world was dangerous. The danger was in the world, and the evil was in the human heart. Back on the deck, Fei and Xiaochen chatted happily. Occasionally, bell-like laughter rang out. This made Luo Nan, who was following at the side, extremely jealous. He could not interrupt even if he wanted to. As Luo Nan looked at Xiaochen, he hated that he could not use his gaze to kill Xiaochen. This was Xiaochen's first time seeing someone from the outer realm. He did not understand many of the local customs, sect grades, cultivation techniques, and divine weapons. After all, the Book of the Epochs only recorded a general idea. It would not record everything in detail, no matter how big or small. Fei Er's thoughts were pure. When Xiaochen occasionally asked questions, she would enthusiastically answer them. Xiaochen learned that the sects were the leaders of the Great Thousand Realms. Sects were divided into 7 ranks. Below rank 7, they were all unranked sections. Any sect with a rank had at least 10,000 years of accumulations. The Tianyi sect was a rank 1 sect with a Cloud Sea Realm Supreme Elder holding down the fort. As for a rank 2 sect, it required at least 3 Cloud Sea Realm existences to be considered a rank 2 sect. Generally, second-rank sects were powerful and would control more than one great world. They did not need to be like a rank 1 sect, which controlled an entire great realm. As for rank 3 sects, they were already considered extremely strong, with divine vein realm powerhouses holding down the fort. They were absolute overlord-class existences in thousands of great realms of an astral domain. Take the Purple Sun region for example. Any random disciple of the 4 rank 3 sects would be respected by a primal core realm powerhouse. When Xiaochen heard that, he felt deeply moved. This great thousand realms truly had limitless possibilities. No wonder so many cultivators of the Kunlun realm since ancient times stepped onto the Kunlun road without hesitation. It was getting late, so Xiaochen took his leave to rest. He planned to think about how to deal with that blue-clad old man. "Junior sister, I'll send you back. You should be tired from the battle with the pirates today." When Xiaochen finally left, Luo Nan immediately showed a smile. "Senior brother Luo, master is looking for you." Just at this moment, a disciple walked out of the ship and spoke respectfully. Luo Nan felt depressed. After so much difficulty, he finally got a chance to be alone, but it was ruined again. Fei Er smiled and said, "Senior brother, go and see master first. There is no danger on the ship. I can go back alone." Luo Nan stared at Fei Er's back in a daze. "Senior brother, it's time to go." Oh. I'll go right away." Inside the tea room of the ship, after Luo Nan bowed, the blue-clad old man asked with a smile, "Nana, that Xiaochen spent so much time with the 2 of you. What did he say to you?" Luo Nan could not help cursing in his heart. "This Xiaochen did not say a single word to me. He chatted with junior sister the entire time. Reporting to master that Xiaochen chatted with junior sister the entire time and did not speak to me, Luo Nan said honestly, even though he felt somewhat upset. The blue-clad old man said, yes. What did they say? Luo Nan nodded and repeated what junior sister Fei said, word for word. The more the blue-clad old man and the half-step primal core realm old man heard, the more they felt that something was wrong. Why did this sound like they were exposing their wealth? They told Xiaochen everything about the Tianyi sect's situation. Fei even gave Xiaochen a simple summary of the two's strength. However, Xiaochen's tone showed great respect for the two old men. The moment he heard it, he knew that it was a careless remark. Stop right there. Who's asking you all this? I'm asking what that Xiaochen said, the half-step primal core realm old man rudely interrupted Luo Nan with a cold expression. Luo Nan spoke happily. He remembered his junior sister's words. Zhang Xian was stunned by the interruption. Ask Xiaochen. He couldn't wait to kill that brat, so how could he remember what that brat said? Tell me, what did Xiaochen say? Don't leave out a single word. The blue-robed old man said expressionlessly. Sensing that his master and martial uncle were somewhat angry, Luo Nan flushed red. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not remember what Xiaochen said. Master, martial uncle, I really can't remember. Please punish me. Plop. Luo Nan fell to his knees, not daring to raise his head. Trash, what are you thinking in your head? Get out of my sight. The blue-clad old man felt enraged as he waved his hand to chase Luo Nan away. Luo Nan felt so frustrated that he wanted to vomit blood. He had been suppressing a bellyful of anger in the first place. When he finally got a chance to be alone with his junior sister, his master and martial uncle called him over and ruthlessly lectured him. What is going on? Luo Nan felt so depressed that he wanted to cry. The blue-clad old man could not be blamed for being angry. Originally, he wanted to dig out Xiaochen's background with the two of them. Who could have imagined that they would not dig out anything? Instead, they ended up exposing their own background. Who could not be angry? Senior brother, this brat is somewhat difficult to deal with. The blue-clad old man showed an unfriendly expression as he snorted coldly. This brat is somewhat skilled. However, he chose the wrong opponent to fight with me. Just wait and see. Chapter 1563. Xiaochen was dancing on the edge of a knife. The world was dangerous, and the human heart was hard to fathom. Xiaochen had understood this many years ago. Previously, Xiaochen had no value in the other party's eyes. Hence, the only comment he received was scram. The word scram was very clever. Only round things could scram. Humans were not round, they were straight. When a person said scram, the subconscious thought was, if you don't scram, I'll make you scram. When Xiaochen tore apart the black scimitar pirate's ship with his bare hands, the blue-clad old man's attitude changed drastically. Of course, it was not because Xiaochen had saved him. In fact, Xiaochen had not even thought of saving the blue-clad old man. It would be foolish to expect a person who could say, scram, to understand gratitude. Naturally, Xiaochen knew that this person had ulterior motives. However, since he wanted to obtain the baleful Yin energy, he had no choice but to take the risk and fight with him. The fortress ship was divided into 10 odd rooms of various sizes. In the room that belonged to Xiaochen, he raised his head and looked around, entering deep thought. In this place, any movement would not escape the blue-clad old man's eyes. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen brought out the power of his ice domain. Immediately, snowflakes filled the room, and cold chi spread out. The space in the room immediately turned blurry. Amid the drifting snowflakes, Xiaochen looked like he was cultivating with his eyes closed. The blue-clad old man and the half-step primal core realm old man, who were observing Xiaochen, exchanged glances. They both saw fear in each other's eyes. What strong ice-attributed energy! He probably comprehended a domain, the half-step primal core realm old man said. Although the cultivators of the Great Thousand Realms had higher cultivations than those of the Kunlun realm, they could not compare to Kunlun realm cultivators in terms of wills and domains. The reason was simple. The Kunlun realm's martial cultivation was limited. Most cultivators could not advance further and could only focus on wills and other aspects. However, the cultivators of the Great Thousand Realms did not have such restrictions. As they cultivated, they spent most of their time on their cultivation. Life was limited. It was inevitable that there would be gains and losses. It looks like his primary cultivation technique should be ice attributed. We should pay more attention to him. After the blue-clad old man understood the situation, he no longer paid much attention to it. Although the ice domain was powerful, the difference in cultivation was too great. It was not something that could be made up for with just the ice domain. In truth, Xiaoqin was cultivating the divine lightning eye amidst the hazy frost qi. The third layer of the divine lightning eye was clearly unable to threaten an existence at the level of the blue-robed old man. At the very least, it had to be at the fourth layer. As for the fourth layer, it was a qualitative change for the divine lightning eye. Being able to overlap the first 3 lightning tribulations would result in 6 lightning tribulations, and its might would increase by several times. The blue-robed old man would never have imagined that, compared to the ice domain, the lightning Tao was his main cultivation. Furthermore, they would not have imagined that Xiaoqin was someone who comprehended the complete saber Tao. Half a month later, the ship stopped in the air above a star near the profound light great world. This was the mystic Yin star. Most of the surface of the star was the Dead Sea, which was unsuitable for ordinary creatures to live in. There was only one piece of land. It was Profound Yin Island. The Tianyi sect disciples all came out from the deck and looked at the island below. Those with good eyesight could see that the terrain of the island was very complicated. There were many steep mountains and complicated valleys. Vaguely, a terrifying aura lingered in the air above the island, not scattering. The blue-robed old man walked out and called over Xiaoqin and the other 2. You all can go down first. According to the rules, our ships can only circle in the air. When Luo Nan heard that, he felt somewhat shocked. We are going down ourselves. That's right. It's all the same. This unwritten rule has been around for many years. After we go down, there is a gathering point of the various sects on the island. You will know everything when you go there. Fei looked at the blue-robed old man somewhat nervously and asked, Master, what do we need to pay attention to? The blue-robed old man smiled warmly and said, Little brother Xiaoqin, I'll let you know. There are some things that I can't say. Xiaoqin looked at the blue-robed old man, feeling somewhat confused. Little brother Xiaoqin, these 2 disciples of mine have not experienced much wind and rain. I'll leave them to you to take care of Profound Yin Island. When Luo Nan heard that, he felt unconvinced. Master, don't worry. I will definitely take good care of junior sister. Our Tianyi sect does not need to rely on outsiders. How dare you say that? The blue-robed old man reprimanded Luo Nan with a stern expression. Then, he looked at Xiaoqin and said, Don't mind. Little brother Xiaoqin, I'll leave everything to you. Seeing the blue-robed old man's sincere appearance, most people would find it hard not to let down their guard. Xiaoqin did not say anything, only nodding slightly. Go on, then. Don't embarrass the Tianyi sect. The 3 of them flew off the warship and landed on a flat land on Profound Yin Island. Just at this moment, 2 cultivators wearing blue armor from the gathering point on the mountain peak shouted coldly, Who are you? What business do you have on Profound Yin Island? When Luo Nan and Fei heard this, they felt the other party's domineering attitude. Come to think of it, this should be an expert from another sect stationed here. Before Luo Nan could rage, Xiaoqin stepped forward and said, We are disciples of the Tianyi sect. We are here to search for baleful Yin energy. The Tianyi sect. Hand over the Tianyi sect identity token. We want to verify your identity. After the 2 blue-armored cultivators checked, they looked at Xiaoqin and asked, You are Yi Bai? This identity token belonged to another Tianyi sect disciple. The words, Yi Bai, were carved on the back. Xiaochen nodded and said, I am Yi Bai. How can I help you? It's nothing. You do not seem to have a high cultivation. Unexpectedly, you are the leader. It is just strange. Come with us. After returning the identity tokens to the two turned around and left. The group traveled on the mountain path like it was flat ground. One could often see cultivators wearing similar armor on this peak. Xiaochen discovered that this blue armor contained a gentle fire-attributed energy. It should be used to resist baleful yin energy. The three of you, listen up. As the cultivator leading the way walked, he said, this profound yin island opens to the public once a year. Right now, it does not belong to any sect. Everyone is equal when they enter. Everyone has to do things according to the rules here. Otherwise, they will have to bear the consequences. Luo Nan felt very upset when he heard this, wanting to rebut a few times. Fei Er felt somewhat nervous. However, when she saw Xiaochen's calm expression, she felt more at ease. There are not many rules here, just 3. First, you can stay here for only 1 month. After 1 month, you have to return to this gathering point. Second, there are no rules in the competition of the same generation. You can use all means. Third, if you have any grudges, you have to forget them after you come out. Fei Er's expression turned somewhat unsightly. She whispered, is the competition that intense? It is just baleful yin energy, yet it is so cruel. Xiaochen retorted indifferently, cruel. When this profound yin island was first discovered, the fight between the various sects was probably 10 times crueler than this. Baleful yin energy and baleful yang energy were too important to cultivators in the veritable essence stage. Cultivators of this realm were the foundation of a sect. The importance of profound yin island to these sects went without saying. It would be strange if the competition for such a strategic location was not cruel. At this moment, Luo Nan became much more reserved. Junior sister, this place cannot be compared to the Tianyi sect. Be careful. Fei Er nodded and did not say anything more. Xiaochen, Luo Nan, and Fei Er followed. Soon, they arrived at the highest point of the peak. There were many stone houses scattered in the area not far from the gathering point. The disciples of the other sects are already living in those stone houses. You can choose any one that is empty. When everyone is here, you can formally explore profound yin island. After saying that, the 2 armored cultivators headed for the gathering point. Most of the stone houses were already occupied by cultivators. The 3 casually chose one, not picky in this regard. This one. Luo Nan pointed to a desolate stone house and immediately went in. After entering, the 3 each chose a corner and sat down to rest. Now that there was no one around, Fei Er asked out of curiosity, Xiaochen, my master said that there are places to take note of. He wanted you to tell us what we need to take note of. After saying that, Luo Nan looked at Xiaochen as well. Although he did not like Xiaochen, he was also somewhat curious. Why did their master get an outsider to teach them? Xiaochen looked at the 2 and saw the word, inexperienced, on their faces. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen said, it is useless to say it now. When the time comes, we will naturally know. Acting all mysterious, Luo Nan muttered. Then, he closed his eyes and ignored Xiaochen. Fei Er glanced at Xiaochen. She kept feeling that this person was unfathomable. However, her intuition told her that Xiaochen could be trusted. On an early morning 7 days later, all sect disciples, heed my orders. Profound yin island is officially open. The voice boomed in the ears of the 3, rumbling like thunder. Xiaochen, Luo Nan, and Luo Nan felt stifled, feeling somewhat uncomfortable from this voice. Chapter 1564. This person is very strong. He is probably a major primal core cultivator. Xiaochen frowned and murmured in his heart. The core cloud realm had only 2 stages, minor primal core and major primal core. The difference in strength was like the difference between heaven and earth, like the difference between clouds and mud. Although the blue-robed old man was strong, he was only a minor primal core cultivator. The pressure he felt from this voice was far inferior. Under the urging of the voice, the disciples of the various sects who came to search for the Yin fiends walked out of the stone houses. Xiaochen casually looked around and found that there were about 100 people. Some sects sent more than 10 people at once. It was extremely rare for sects like the Tianyi sect to send only 1 or 2 people. After checking, Xiaochen understood. In terms of strength and talent, the Tianyi sect's Fei Er and Luo Nan were among the best of this group of people. It seemed that the Tianyi sect was a sect that pursued an elite policy. Actually, during the battle on the pirate ship, Xiaochen had already discovered that although the two of them were only at the veritable essence stage, they were able to fight against many Yin essence stage pirates. He had both talent and strength, but he lacked some experience in the Jianghu. Most of the sect disciples who came to search for baleful Yin energy were at the Yin essence stage. Only a few were at the veritable essence stage. Xiaochen pondered, it seems that in this place, the true element boundary is the real master. So. From the stronghold on the mountain peak, 3 figures flew over like lightning, coldly looking at Xiaochen and the other disciples who were about to enter the hinterland of Mystic Yin Island. The leader of the group of 3 was a white-haired, black-robed old man. His entire body was filled with an austere aura. Everyone, including Xiaochen, felt an invisible pressure, like a tiger looking at its prey. A major origin core realm expert. Xiaochen thought to himself that his previous guess was indeed correct. An expert of this level was truly frighteningly strong. Just a glance from him was enough to make him shudder. The white-haired, black-clad old man's gaze was like a sharp blade wherever it passed. It made people feel as if there was a blade in front of their eyes. His head was spinning, and he didn't dare to look him in the eye. Xiaochen did not dare to be careless. He restrained his aura and avoided the old man's gaze. Mystic Yin Island opens once a year. Now, all of you can enter the interior of Mystic Yin Island. Everyone listened quietly, not daring to be presumptuous. Profound Yin Island is a blessed land with ferocious beasts that are terrifyingly strong. Don't let your guard down. There are strange beasts guarding the Yin specters, so you have to act according to your own strength. After pausing for a while, the white-haired, black-clad old man pointed into the distance. The interior of Profound Yin Island is in this direction, about 500,000 kilometers away. Later, there will be a transportation formation to send you there. Back then, over a dozen sects fought over this Profound Yin Island, and many people died. You juniors should cherish this opportunity. Now, I will check your identities for the last time. What sect do you come from? Tell me your strength. If you lie, I'll kill you without mercy. The white-haired old man's gaze landed on a young man and he said, You first. I am Wei He from the Clear Feather sect. I am at the middle stage of the Yin essence realm. Before the white-haired old man's gaze, no one dared to lie. The various sect disciples stepped forward and reported their backgrounds in detail. Fei Er and Luo Nan both felt worried for Xiaochen. If Xiaochen gave himself away, not only would he suffer, but he would also implicate the two of them and even the Tianyi sect. Yi Bai from the Tianyi sect. I am at the peak of the veritable essence realm. Xiaochen said calmly before the white-haired old man's gaze. Yi Bai. The white-haired old man exchanged glances with the 2 people beside him. Their gazes revealed a trace of surprise, clearly shocked. It's over, Luo Nan's body trembled slightly, and his expression sank in anxiety. However, Xiaochen remained calm. He believed that he did not give himself away. The Tianyi sect is truly incredible. You have been in this veritable essence realm for many years already, right? The white-haired old man asked seriously as he looked at Xiaochen with a sharp gaze. Xiaochen nodded, and a sharp light appeared in his eyes. I have been sharpening my sword for 3 years, and today, I will not advance to the Yin essence realm unless I obtain the best baleful Yin energy. The moment Xiaochen said that, he attracted the attention of several people. Good. You are ambitious. I hope you will gain something on Profound Yin Island. Go down, then. The white-haired old man and the two people beside him did not notice anything strange. They only felt that the veritable essence energy in Xiao Chen's body was unusually dense and dense. Xiao Chen's cultivation was incredibly stable, far surpassing that of the sect disciples here. The sect disciples here were all elites of the various sections. However, Xiao Chen still stood out from the rest. This was what shocked the two people. Normally, such people were proud and arrogant. They believed that they would definitely be able to spread their wings and soar into the sky in the future. Before advancing to the veritable personage realm, they would properly temper themselves. Before obtaining the best baleful yin energy and baleful yang energy, they would not advance rashly. Seeing Xiao Chen settle down, Fei Er and Luo Nan heaved a sigh of relief. Luo Nan thought to himself, this fellow does not look like much, but his acting is pretty good. You, report your name. Lotus Sect's disciple, Feng Yun, Peak Yin Essence Stage. Just at this moment, another person reported his sect. Xiao Chen frowned slightly and said, Buddhist sect disciple. Xiao Chen felt a familiar aura from that Feng Yun. Fei Er smiled and said, does Big Brother Xiao Chen not know? The Lotus Sect's disciple is a rank 1 sect subordinate to the Black Lotus Church. They come from the same great realm as our Tianyi sect. The Black Lotus Church. This startled Xiao Chen. However, his expression did not change, not saying anything. It should just be a coincidence. There could not be such a coincidence. The Black Lotus Church should not have discovered his tracks so quickly. Even so, he still needed to be cautious. After the 100-odd people verified that there was no mistake, they were all given a jade strip. The jade strip had been refined. Only the person holding the jade strip could enter Profound Yin Island's interior. After putting away the jade strip, the group of people lined up and entered the transportation formation. While waiting, there were people in the surroundings. Luo Nan and Fei Er discussed the various dangers of Profound Yin Island's interior in whispers. I heard from my senior brothers in the sect that the environment of this Profound Yin Island's interior is very complicated. There are swamps, mountains, rivers, and ferocious beasts lurking everywhere. This is especially so for places with baleful yin energy. There will definitely be ferocious beasts, even core cloud realm ferocious beasts. Fei Er exclaimed in shock, that can't be, right? There are even venerate level ferocious beasts. There are. Suddenly, a handsome-looking disciple came over and the three of them hurriedly looked over. Hee hee. The three of you, I am the Clear Feather Sect's Wei He. So, it was the first person to introduce himself. Unexpectedly, they were all lined up together. After the other party introduced himself, the three had to do the same. Yi Bai, just call me by my name, Xiao Chen said calmly. How would I dare? How would I dare? Big Brother Yi is someone that even the island's guardian elder views in a different light, Wei He quickly replied humbly. Luo Nan looked at the other party and asked, earlier, you also said that there are primal core level ferocious beasts. How did you know? It is just a legend. According to legend, the best baleful yin energy on this Profound Yin Island has already existed for 10,000 years and is guarded by primal core level ferocious beasts. That's impossible. The island's guardian elder already hunted down the 10,000-year-old peak-grade baleful yin energy long ago. How could it be our turn? Wei He smiled mysteriously. There is something you do not know. No one knows where that 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy is. According to legend, that baleful yin energy already has its own intelligence and can fly. How did you know? Xiao Chen asked out of curiosity. Wei He smiled and said, the Clear Feather Sect is in the Profound Light Great Realm. Naturally, we know some secrets. However, this is just a legend. Many people who were tempted by it and blindly pursued it ended up with nothing. We wasted 1 month for nothing. Everyone, just listen to me. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. If there was really such a thing, perhaps he might have a chance. His dragon-seeking secret skill could also be of some use in searching for gloomy specters. Of course, this was just wishful thinking. Xiaoqin did not think that he could leave this profound Yin island safely after obtaining the 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. It was better to focus on some peak-grade baleful Yin energy. Chapter 1565. Soon, it was Xiaoqian's group's turn. They stepped onto the transportation formation, and light flickered. 500,000 kilometers passed in the blink of an eye. When they reappeared, they were at a small transportation formation on a mountain peak. A few old men stood guard by the transportation formation. Remember, you only have 1 month. After 1 month, you have to leave. If you run into danger along the way and want to give up, you can come here in advance to receive protection. The few old men gave their final instructions. Xiaoqian's group looked around and saw a swamp below the center of profound Yin Island. Rivers crisscrossed in the distance. Farther away, there seemed to be boundless mountains. The 3 of you, do you want to form a team? The center of profound Yin Island is filled with danger. It would be better for us to take care of each other. Wei He smiled at Xiaoqian's group of 3. Senior brother, big brother Xiao, what do you think? Fei felt somewhat tempted. After all, 1 more person meant 1 more force. Luo Nan looked at this Wei He. He looked handsome and had an extraordinary air. Before Xiaoqin could answer, he quickly rejected, there's no need. Wei He smiled and said, that is really unfortunate. Let's part ways here. After the group left, Fei said, Senior brother, why did you reject him so quickly? After all, it is a kind gesture from him. Luo Nan opened his mouth to say something. However, he found that he could not say anything reasonable. Xiaoqin said calmly, although this way he looks friendly, he came with the sect. However, he did not leave with his fellow sect members. Either he is used to being alone, or he has a bad reputation, so his fellow sect members are not willing to bother with him. Luo Nan nodded and said, that's right. Senior brother, my eyes are very sharp. I noticed that this fellow was up to no good long ago. Unexpectedly, Xiaoqin, you also noticed something suspicious. You have some good eyes. Xiaoqin smiled and did not say anything. He looked around, observing the geomancy of the surroundings. Baleful Yin energy was called Earth Ghost in geomancy. It was an extremely ominous existence. Aside from some special tombs, such things would not exist near dragon veins. The more dangerous the geomancy of a place, the more likely it was to have baleful Yin energy. Hu Qi. Xiaoqin flew into the sky. Without Luo Nan and Fei noticing, he silently opened his heavenly eye. Within 100,000 li radius, the mountains and rivers, the grass, the trees, the flowers, the birds, the insects, and the beasts, as well as the busy disciples of the various sects, everything could be seen. Xiaoqin quickly recalled the records of the dangerous geomancy lands in the Paradise Secret Canon, matching them to the terrain before him. This place is really strange. It's actually a land of death. Could it be that this mysterious Yin star itself is an ominous star? Shaking his head, Xiaoqin retracted his heavenly eye and slowly descended to the ground. Big brother Xiaoqin, what are you looking at? Fei asked curiously. Xiaoqin said honestly, let me see if I can find some places where baleful Yin energy is hidden. So godly. Yin energy is hidden underground. Could it be that your eyes can see through it? Everyone relies on luck to find baleful Yin energy. When you reach a place where baleful Yin energy is hidden, you will naturally sense it. Luo Nan did not fall for Xiaoqian's trick. He said in disdain, Junior sister, if you follow me, I guarantee that you will find good baleful Yin energy. Xiaoqin did not refute. Luo Nan was right. This was how the sect disciples of Profound Yin Island searched for baleful Yin energy. However, this method was not only inefficient, but it also could not find baleful Yin energy that was more than 1,000 years old. As time passed, the baleful Yin energy absorbed increased, and the baleful Yin energy would continuously sink. Even when the baleful yin energy was deep underground, the baleful yin energy that could be sensed was mostly 100 years old or several hundred years old. After looking in a direction, Xiaochen walked over based on his memory. Xiaochen remembered that there was a dangerous geomancy land in the northwest. The land was away from the sun, and the surroundings were steep. Scattered starlight fell from the sky, surrounding many withered trees. Senior brother, follow big brother Xiao. Trust him. After Fei reminded Xiaochen, she followed after Xiaochen. You want me to follow him? Dream on. Luo Nan said furiously, feeling incredibly frustrated. After about 7 minutes, Luo Nan, who was at the back of the group, silently followed behind Xiaochen and Fei with a sullen expression. Fei smiled and said, Senior brother, didn't you say you wouldn't come? Luo Nan blushed slightly. I was just worried about junior sister's safety. Fei covered her mouth and giggled endlessly, making Luo Nan feel even more embarrassed. After a long time, Xiaochen stopped in front of a flat ground. Xiaochen raised his head to look at the sky, then at the surrounding terrain. Then, he made some calculations in his heart. Xiaochen was confident in using feng shui to find spirit veins and tombs. However, he did not dare to be careless when searching for baleful yin energy. He could only say that there was a high possibility. Success or failure depended on luck. However, one thing was certain. Either he couldn't find it, or once Xiaochen found it, the yin energy was definitely more than 1,000 years old. Therefore, even if there were occasional mistakes, it could be tolerated. There is baleful yin energy in this place. Junior sister, you don't really believe it, right? Luo Nan closed his eyes and sensed. Not to mention the aura of baleful yin energy, he did not even feel yin-attributed energy. Fei rolled her eyes at Luo Nan. Then, she looked at Xiaochen and asked, Big brother Xiaochen, is there really baleful yin energy in this place? Xiaochen answered honestly, I don't dare to be sure either. I can only say that there is a chance. In that case, let's give it a try. Big brother Xiaochen, what should we do? Fei encouraged Xiaochen. She rather trusted him. Xiaochen smiled and said, You should just call me Yi Bai here. It would not be good to give myself away. Fei stuck out her tongue and said, All right, I understand, senior brother Yi Bai. Junior sister, let's go quickly. We cannot waste any more time. It would be too unfortunate if we do not find a single baleful yin energy in 1 month. Fei smiled and said, Let's give it a try. Senior brother, go and help out. Senior brother Yi Bai, it's time to make a move. Luo Nan was not willing. However, since Fei gave the order, he could not disobey. Luo Nan drew out a divine weapon, infused his veritable essence energy into it, and stabbed it down. The ground immediately cracked, giving off loud sounds. Luo Nan, who was responsible for keeping watch, quickly sent out a hand seal. Space trembled slightly, scattering the loud sounds in the air. It was not enough to startle everyone. Xiaochen glanced at Luo Nan and smiled to himself. This person really listened to his junior sister. Even though Luo Nan clearly did not like Xiaochen, he still did his best to keep watch. As the crack in the ground deepened, there was still no baleful yin energy. Fei slowly revealed a disappointed expression. Ha! How is it? I told you that there is no baleful yin energy, right? Luo Nan said with a smile at some point in time, revealing a cocky expression. Fei gave Luo Nan a strange look. Senior brother, why are you so happy that there is no baleful yin energy? Could it be that you are not here to search for baleful yin energy? Of course not, Luo Nan quickly denied. Then, why are you smiling? Seeing Fei's innocent eyes, Luo Nan could no longer smile. If he continued, he would become a fool again. You two stand guard above for a while. I'll go down and take a look. Xiaochen, who had been staring down, did not hear what the two said. Right after he spoke, he jumped down. This startled Luo Nan and Fei. The environment of Profound Een Island's interior was complicated, even more dangerous than the surface. How could he jump down on a whim? Junior sister, stand guard. I'll go down and take a look. This fellow is too rash. Fei nodded and said, in that case, senior brother, be careful. Luo Nan smiled faintly and said, don't worry. This senior brother is not as rash as that white-clad brat. I will definitely be fine. The crack was very deep. The further down he went, the heavier the cold chi and inattributed energy. When Luo Nan landed, he fell heavily. It turned out that Luo Nan had not noticed the cold chi. His legs had already gone numb, and he could not feel anything before he touched anything. The moment Luo Nan touched the ground, he fell over and over. When Luo Nan managed to stand up after much difficulty, he saw a white figure flash in front, so he quickly gave chase. Bang! Luo Nan only cared about chasing after Xiao Chen, not knowing to lower his head. So, his head crashed into the wall again. As Luo Nan chased after Xiao Chen, he panted. Even after putting in all his effort, he could only see a white figure. The underground environment was very complicated, so Luo Nan suffered a lot as he stumbled around. Fortunately, he did not run into any ferocious beasts as he followed Xiao Chen. After some time, Luo Nan sensed that the white figure in front finally stopped. Luo Nan's eyes lit up, and he rushed over. Ignoring his aching body, tattered clothes, and sorry state, he panted, I finally, found you. Follow me, so cold, what's going on? Suddenly, Luo Nan felt that something was wrong. Only then did he discover the corpse of a ferocious beast in front of Xiao Chen. The entire area was filled with inattributed energy. Even Luo Nan felt a chill in his bones. Luo Nan looked around and saw a black, sinister wind silently gathering at the limits of the area, giving off a cold light. Baleful Een energy. Chapter 1566. Luo Nan shivered when he verified that he did not see wrong. There really was a clump of baleful Een energy in front. Based on the light it gave off and its color, it was definitely at least 1,000 years old. Then, Luo Nan swept his gaze across the ferocious beast corpse in front of Xiao Chen, feeling somewhat incredulous. To think that Xiao Chen dealt with the ferocious beast guarding the baleful Een energy in such a short time. Xiao Chen turned his head and glanced at Luo Nan. Finding it strange, he asked, how did you end up like this? Luo Nan's clothes were tattered, and he looked haggard. Scratches covered his face. The other party had been following behind Luo Nan, but there had been no battle. Who knew, the moment Xiao Chen said that, Luo Nan immediately became angry. This fellow. If not for him, how could I end up in such a sorry state? To think that he even asked why. He must be doing this on purpose to anger me. Senior brother Luo Nan, senior brother Xiao Chen, are you there? Just as Luo Nan was about to lose his temper, his junior sister's voice rang out from behind. Luo Nan glared at Xiao Chen and said, the interior of Profound Een Island is incredibly dangerous. If not on account of junior sister, I definitely would not care about you. I won't bother with you this time. After saying that, Luo Nan turned around to lead Fei over. 1,000-year-old baleful Een energy. After seeing the baleful Een energy, Fei's expression filled with pleasant surprise. Senior brother Yi Bai, you really found it. You are really incredible. Luo Nan coughed a few times to show that he had found it as well. Fei smiled and said, senior brother Luo Nan is incredible as well. It was not easy for you to be injured to this extent. Fei glanced at the ferocious beast corpse in front and then at Luo Nan's injuries. Her first impression was that Luo Nan killed the ferocious beast. Xiao Chen smiled and did not refute. Feeling embarrassed, Luo Nan quickly changed the topic. This 1,000-year-old baleful Een energy is sufficient for the three of us to advance to the Een essence stage at the same time. With such a high-quality baleful Een energy, the quality of the Een essence energy we condense will definitely be extraordinary. Xiaoqin shook his head and said, "We need to ensure that the baleful yin energy is complete for it to bring out its greatest effect. After refining a complete strand of yin energy, the primordial yin energy will be even purer. When the time comes, the primordial core that I condense will also be of a higher grade." This was what Xiaoqin had seen in the Book of the Epochs. However, most cultivators rarely had such conditions. Ordinary cultivators used yin essence stones. Being able to absorb yin essence energy from baleful yin energy was already a great blessing. Who would dare to think of refining the complete baleful yin energy? Only the elite disciples of third-rank sects, the disciples of great clans, or the peerless geniuses who possessed the bloodline of the desolate era could have such conditions. Luo Nan immediately said angrily, "You aren't thinking of monopolizing this baleful yin energy, right?" Fei Er quickly advised, "Senior brother, don't be angry. Big brother Xiaoqin definitely does not mean that." Xiaoqian's expression was calm. He took 2 steps back and said, "Choose for yourselves. This baleful yin energy is not suitable for me." The moment Xiaoqin said that, Luo Nan and Fei Er immediately felt stunned. "I already said that big brother Xiaoqian is not that kind of person, right?" "You still do not believe me," Fei Er said as she rolled her eyes at Luo Nan, making Luo Nan feel very uncomfortable. "Senior brother, your talent is higher than mine. You can refine this baleful yin energy. Remember to apologize to big brother Xiaoqin later." "Junior sister, how can I do that? Furthermore, I cannot apologize to him." "What's wrong? You are not going to listen to me?" Behind, Xiaoqin smiled faintly as he watched the two speak. Since coming out of the Kunlun realm, he had felt a rare warmth from the two. This baleful yin energy was indeed not suitable for him. His goal was very clear. He needed a baleful yin energy that was at least 5,000 years old. To become a deity, one had to first become a human. In the veritable personage realm, one had to lay a good foundation. It was better to have nothing than to have something substandard. The process of refining baleful yin energy was an extremely dangerous process. If one was not careful, one might suffer a backlash from the baleful yin energy. This would injure all the meridians in one's body. Hence, one needed someone to protect them. Fei Er accompanied Xiaoqin the entire time. Taking advantage of this time, Xiaoqin continued to cultivate the Divine Lightning Eye's 4th layer. Aside from refining the Cycle Throne, Xiaoqin spent most of his time on the ship on cultivating the Divine Lightning Eye. Xiaoqin could already layer 6 lightning tribulations. However, he was not very familiar with them. His success rate was not high yet, so it could not be considered a true breakthrough. More importantly, there were too many people watching, so he could not truly execute it. "Xiaoqin, little yellow feather is about to wake up. It can already communicate with me." Just at this moment, Ao Jiao's voice suddenly came from the immortal spirit ring. Xiaoqian's heart skipped a beat. Then, he revealed a smile on his face. "This little fellow is finally coming out. It looks like the solar true flame of the zodiac hall is still somewhat effective." Originally, Xiaoqin thought that he would have to wait another 100 years. Being able to wake up so quickly was a pleasant surprise. Hee. It told me that when it woke up this time, it even recovered some of its memories from its previous life. Take good care of it first. Remember, don't let it mess around. This place is not that difficult. Yes. Half a day later, Xiaoqin suddenly felt a strong aura spreading out. The vast veritable essence energy contained an extremely cold energy. Everywhere it passed, a layer of frost covered the surface of the cave. Crack! Crack! When the cold wind blew, countless frozen rocks fell down and turned into ice shards flying everywhere. It looked like countless snowflakes drifted in the cave. Xiaoqin opened his eyes, and 6 spinning purple petals flashed in his right eye. Success! Luo Nan successfully refined this 1,000-year-old baleful yin energy and formally advanced to the yin essence stage. As an elite disciple of the Tianyi sect, Luo Nan had been stuck at the veritable essence stage for more than a year, unable to advance. Now that he finally had this opportunity, refining a complete strand of baleful yin energy, his strength naturally soared. Xiaoqin slowly stood up, and the frost covering his body fell off, unable to penetrate his physical body. Junior sister, I successfully refined this strand of baleful yin energy. Luo Nan's complexion glowed, and the injuries on his face vanished. His aura seemed to have changed significantly. Fei Er smiled and said, I just knew that senior brother could do it. Quickly, go and apologize to big brother Xiaoqin. If not for him, how could you have such an opportunity? You should know that not just anyone can enjoy a complete baleful yin energy, even a rank 3 sect disciple. At this moment, Luo Nan felt incredibly confident. As he looked at Xiaoqin, he was filled with the pride of a superior. In the past, Luo Nan found Xiaoqin pleasing to the eye. Now, he felt that Xiaoqin was not a match for him at all, that they were not on the same level. Apologizing to Xiaoqin was no big deal. Luo Nan casually stepped forward and smiled. Sorry for the earlier offense. Xiaoqin, sorry. Xiaoqin's expression remained calm. As he looked at the other party, he nodded and said, Congratulations. For some reason, when Luo Nan heard these two simple words, he felt his pride vanish without a trace. After the three collected all the nearby yin essence stones, they walked out of the crack. By the time they came out, the sky was already dark. The three set up a bonfire and decided to rest for the night. Xiaoqin stood up and said, I'll stand guard. There's no need. Let senior brother Luo Nan stand guard. Senior brother Yi Bai should be rather tired today, Fei Er said quickly, not wanting Xiaoqin to be so tired. Luo Nan also volunteered, saying, Xiaoqin, just rest well. With my current strength, it would be more suitable for me to stand guard. Xiaoqin smiled to himself. Since this person wants to fight, let him. Stars dotted the sky, and the night sky was beautiful. By the bonfire, Xiaoqin took out a flask of wine and started drinking alone. The wine was the 1,000-year flame that Emochin brewed. However, he did not feel happy drinking it today, feeling somewhat bitter. He wondered how his old friends in the Kunlun realm were doing. Fei Er's bright eyes looked bright in the night. As she looked at Xiaoqin, she asked, Senior brother Yi Bai, why do you always look like you have something on your mind? Something on my mind? Xiaoqin did not deny it. Then, he left the familiar Kunlun realm alone, thinking about his old friends who died in the demonic calamity. He felt like it was yesterday. The great 1,000 realms were boundless and boundless. He deeply understood how insignificant he was. He felt lonely, sad, and somewhat hesitant. How could he let go of these? There was also the Black Lotus Church, the faction that caused the demonic calamity in the Kunlun realm. He did not know when he would be able to uproot it. He also did not know if elder sister Ryue was doing well. Xiaoqin changed the topic. He smiled and said, Junior sister Fei Er seems to like senior brother Luo Nan a lot. Fei Er blushed and said somewhat helplessly, even big brother Xiaoqin, an outsider, can tell. However, senior brother Luo Nan cannot. However, everything about senior brother Luo Nan is good. He is just somewhat. Somewhat what? He lacks some of his manliness. I like great heroes. Senior brother is sometimes somewhat childish. Xiaoqin smiled and said, one day, he will become a great hero for you. Fei Er squinted slightly. Her large eyes, which had some baby fat on her face, looked exceptionally cute. I hope so. At the same time, the half-step primal core realm old man on the Tianyi sect's ship received a piece of top-secret news. When the blue-clad old man heard it, his expression turned grave. Is this news true? This news was simply too shocking. Unexpectedly, the sect sent a portrait saying that this person was wanted by the Black Lotus Church and told them to keep an eye out for him. It is absolutely true. The news came from the Lotus sect leader. He accidentally leaked it to our great 1,000 realms. Rumor has it that the Black Lotus Church has already issued a bounty for all its subordinate factions. The blue-clad old man said gravely, to think that this fellow actually has a connection to a huge faction like the Black Lotus Church. Senior brother, what should we do? Should we continue fighting? There's no need. Although we are not a subordinate faction of the Black Lotus Church, we will still be rewarded for killing him. For the sake of the Black Lotus Church's rewards, we can bear this price, the blue-clad old man said coldly and emotionlessly. A murderous intent flashed in the blue-clad old man's eyes as he spoke coldly. Chapter 1567. The night was beautiful. Xiao Chen, who was drinking the 1,000-year flame, did not know. The blue-clad old man and the half-step primal core realm old man knew of Xiao Chen's conflict with the Black Lotus Church because of a leaked arrest warrant. He was prepared to completely fall out with him and stop dealing with him. Tens of thousands of kilometers away from him, there was also a bonfire. A man and a woman were chatting as they warmed themselves by the fire. The two of them came from another great world and came from the same sect, the Spirit Star Palace. The man was called Bai Feng and the woman was Lu Yi. They were the junior brother and junior sister. Due to their high strength and deep relationship, the two of them did not move together with other disciples. There was no lack of such groups in the hinterlands of profound Yin Island. After all, it was better to distribute baleful Yin energy with as few people as possible. Senior brother, we're really lucky. 300 years of Yin energy. Lu Yi said happily with a smile on his face. It is only 300 years of baleful Yin energy. It is nothing. It is not enough for us to reach the peak of the Yin essence stage. We were quite lucky. We were randomly chasing a ferocious beast, but we didn't expect to accidentally sense the existence of Yin spirits. Bai Feng shook his head, not satisfied. Furthermore, he was extremely cautious. We should be more careful from now on. It seems like someone is watching us while we are absorbing the baleful Yin energy. Senior brother, you're worrying too much. We've already walked so far and checked several times. We've already shaken off that person. Lu Yi said nonchalantly. It is better to be safe than sorry. Let's not sleep tonight. And, I'll listen to senior brother. At this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew, and the bonfire swayed left and right. Who is it? Bai Feng and Lu Yi showed stunned expressions as they stood up at the same time warily. So it's a friend from the Spirit Star Palace. Don't be nervous, I am the Clear Feather Sect's Wei He. I was just chased by a ferocious beast, and it wasn't easy for me to get rid of it. When I saw the fire here, I came over. In the darkness, Wei He revealed an expression of pleasant surprise as he looked at the two. Seeing that it was only the other party, Bai Feng and Lu Yi heaved sighs of relief. So, it is the Clear Feather Sect's Wei He. However, my junior sister and I do not accept outsiders as our team. Since you're alone, please leave. Bai Feng calmly asked the guest to leave. It was the middle of the night, and the other party clearly wanted to be his partner. Naturally, he would not allow it. Wei He smiled in surprise. I did not even say anything, and brother Bai already guessed my intentions. In that case, I will not force you. Goodbye. As soon as he finished speaking, a gust of wind blew past, and the bonfire was suddenly extinguished. A terrified scream rang out in the dark night, and then abruptly stopped. Junior sister. Bai Feng cried out in pain. In that instant earlier, his junior sister, who had lost her vigilance, fell to Wei He's hands. So. A strong wind blew, and in the darkness, a few more figures appeared. Bai Feng focused his mental energy in his eyes. The darkness of the night could not obstruct his vision. He looked at the approaching people with a livid expression. Then, he gritted his teeth and said, Clear Feather Sect, Lotus Sect Temples Feng Yun, Flying Cloud Manners Tuo Balang. I will definitely kill you all to take revenge for junior sister. Aside from Wei He, there were 4 other people. They were all Yin Essence stage experts. Wei He sneered, revenge? Don't think too much about it. Don't worry, I'll send you and your junior sister back to the sect later. Ha! It is just in the netherworld. The Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun laughed loudly and charged over with the other 4. After a while, Bai Feng, who fought 1 against 5, fell into a pool of blood, dying unwillingly. As Wei He looked at the 2 corpses on the ground, he said coldly, "Brother Feng Yun, it is your turn." The Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun smiled faintly. Then, he formed hand seals, and a lotus flower appeared under his feet. A black Buddha image appeared behind him, and the baleful yin energy in the 2 corpses was slowly forced out. The 2 had just refined the baleful yin energy and had not completely merged the yin essence energy with their flesh. Hence, the Lotus Sect Temple's method could force it out. The 5 did not say anything. They just sat down cross-legged and greedily absorbed this pure baleful yin energy, consolidating their cultivations. When the baleful yin energy was completely absorbed, Wei He opened his eyes and revealed a satisfied smile. This is really comfortable. If this continues, our yin essence stage cultivation will continuously improve. This is several times better than absorbing the baleful yin energy on our own. This is all thanks to Brother Wei He and Brother Feng Yun. Without the 2 of you working together, we would not have had such benefits, Tuoba Lang said with a smile at the Soaring Cloud Mountain manor. Wei He said humbly, "It is mainly thanks to Brother Feng Yun. Without Brother Feng Yun's Lotus Sect seal, no matter how good my eyesight is, it would not have been enough." Wei He's eyesight was startlingly good at judging people. He could tell who had just absorbed the baleful yin energy and who had completely refined the baleful yin energy and merged it into their flesh. With one glance, Wei He could tell who was the target for the 5. 1 month is just the beginning. When the time comes, all of us will definitely reach peak yin essence stage. Bai Feng's and Lu Ye's corpses were still warm, covered in blood. However, the 5 seated cross-legged chatted happily, not caring about them at all. Even though the night was dark, it could not beat the hearts of these 5. Early the next morning, just as Xiao Chen's group was preparing to depart, Ao Jiao said from the immortal spirit ring that little yellow feather was about to break out of its shell. "The 2 of you, I'll go and take a look first." "Wait here for a while," Xiao Chen said to Fei Er and Luo Nan as he turned around. Luo Nan wished that Xiao Chen would go far away so that he could spend more time with Fei Er, so he quickly agreed. "Big brother Xiao Chen, be careful," Fei Er warned, thinking that Xiao Chen was going to search for the hiding place of the baleful yin energy again. After leaving the 2, Xiao Chen saw that there was no one around, so he took out the golden crow egg. The golden crow egg was already covered in cracks. Soon, the eggshell completely shattered. Then, little yellow feather appeared amid the golden flames, spreading its wings. A large amount of golden light poured out. Xiao Chen had been prepared long ago. He flung out his sleeves, and saber lights flew out. The saber lights formed a sealed saber formation, covering up all the mysterious phenomena. When the lights scattered, little yellow feather, which had undergone a nirvanic rebirth, appeared before Xiao Chen and Ao Jiao. Compared to the previous glistening little fellow, this time, little yellow feather was covered in feathers with a withdrawn golden light. It looked rather ordinary. All its sharpness and the might of a holy beast were hidden under its feathers. Ao Jiao spread her arms wide and said joyfully, "Little yellow feather, come over quickly." Little yellow feather spread its wings and happily flew to Ao Jiao's side, chirping non-stop. The last time little yellow feather was born, it had been like a baby. Ao Jiao had brought it up single-handedly. Xiao Chen knew that little yellow feather and Ao Jiao had a good relationship. He smiled faintly and did not disturb them. After a while, Ao Jiao turned her head and said, "Xiao Chen, little yellow feather said that it can help us search for baleful yin energy. This kind of cold yin energy conflicts with its attribute, making it very easy to find." When Xiao Chen heard that, he rejoiced. The golden crow was an extremely young attributed creature. It was naturally sensitive to such baleful yin energy and found it uncomfortable. Although the golden crow did not like it, if it was willing, it would be much easier to find the source. However, after thinking for a while, Xiao Chen still rejected it. "Thank you for its kind intentions. However, it just came out, so don't let it take the risk. I have my own ways to search for baleful energy. No, it said that there is a attributed energy that it particularly hates here. Even if it hides in the immortal spirit ring, it will still be able to feel it. It needs to be eliminated. Xiao Chen laughed hoarsely. So the golden crow was doing this for its own good. He had thought that the golden crow had changed its character. That's not right. Suddenly, Xiao Chen's expression changed. It must be the 10,000-year-old baleful energy. For the golden crow to feel uncomfortable in the immortal spirit ring, it had to be the 10,000-year-old baleful energy. Other baleful energy would not be this horrifying. Xiao Chen said gravely, Ao Jiao, tell it to find the source of this baleful energy. However, it mustn't move alone. After it finds it, just inform me at the fastest speed. When Ao Jiao saw Xiao Chen's grave expression, she quickly reminded Little Yellow Feather several times before letting it leave worriedly. Xiao Chen frowned and said, this little fellow won't mess around, right? I already reminded it many times. It should not mess around, Ao Jiao said uncertainly. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, never mind. Let's go back first. If anything unexpected happens, we can just leave this profound star. Over the next few days, Xiao Chen used the dragon-seeking art to search for dangerous lands. Perhaps Xiao Chen used up all his luck on the first day. After searching several times, Xiao Chen and the others did not find any baleful energy. Instead, they ran into danger. Finally, just as Luo Nan could no longer endure it, the three found another 1,000-year-old baleful energy 10 days later. Xiao Chen did not say anything. No matter how Fei rejected, he gave up this baleful energy to her. When Fei successfully refined this baleful energy, the three came out of the crack. Brother Wei He, there are 3 people coming out of the ground. They seem to be disciples of the Tianyi sect. Take a look and see if they found anything. The scene of the 3 coming out happened to catch the attention of Wei He's group, who were searching for targets in the distance. The Tianyi sect. I have a deep impression of them. Let me take a look. Wei He smiled faintly and shifted his gaze over. Chapter 1568. After Wei He saw clearly, he nodded and said, it is indeed the Tianyi sect's people. That girl should have just refined the baleful energy not long ago. Furthermore, that baleful energy is of high quality. The baleful energy we absorbed earlier cannot compare to it. However, the Tianyi sect's people are not easy to deal with, especially that Yi Bai. Even the 3 primal core realm cultivators have a whole new level of respect for him. That's right. Out of so many people, only Yi Bai was asked a few more questions by that old man. Should we make a move? The 5 hesitated somewhat. After all, although they were ruthless, they were not stupid. They didn't want to suffer a double loss after trying to get the bride. Just as the 5 hesitated and were about to give up, a strange look flashed in the eyes of the Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun. He said seriously, there is no need to be so conflicted. No matter how powerful that Yi Bai is, he is just a veritable essence stage cultivator. How strong can he be? At that time, we just need 2 people to delay him. As for the other 3, we can deal with Luo Nan and that girl after dealing with the other 2. It will be easy for the 5 of us to deal with Yi Bai. Furthermore, Brother Wei He already said that the baleful energy that girl absorbed is of extremely high quality. Why can't we take the risk? Feng Yun's long speech swayed the other 4 somewhat. Wei He entered deep thought and said, that Yi Bai is indeed not simple. However, if we suddenly make a move, we will still have some confidence, just like how we dealt with Bai Feng and Lu Yi. Soon, the 5 of them came to a consensus and began to discuss countermeasures. The Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun revealed a smile. Since we have already decided, let's discuss the details. We cannot make any mistakes, the Soaring Cloud Mountain Manor's Tuoba Yi said calmly. Wei He nodded and said, Brother Tuoba is right. Otherwise, if we leave any loose ends, it will be problematic for us. I feel that we should do this, when Xiao Chen's group of 3 walked out of the crack, they did not know that they were being watched. Senior Brother Yi Bai, many thanks. Unexpectedly, Fei would have such a day. Fei who refined a complete strand of baleful yin energy, felt exceptionally happy. You are too polite. Xiao Chen did not think too much about it. After all, he had no use for it. It was just nice to give it to someone who needed it. After Profound Yin Island, he would probably leave soon. At that time, they would not have much interaction. Xiao Chen still had to go to the Profound Light Great Realm and ask around. At the very least, he had to figure out where Ancestor Dragon City was. Actually, Luo Nan's opinion of Xiao Chen had already changed significantly. However, when he saw how much his junior sister valued Xiao Chen, he became unhappy out of jealousy. Let's go, let's go. There's no need to speak so much. Luo Nan forcefully interrupted the two. Xiao Chen stopped and raised his head to look ahead. What's wrong? Fei quickly asked. Ha 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 ha. Brother Yi Bai, Brother Luo Nan, and Miss Fei we meet again. Just at this moment, Wei He brought the other 4 people and appeared before the 3 of them. What a coincidence. As the saying goes, it's a small world. We meet again. Wei He quickly walked over and pretended to be happy as he said this with a smile. Luo Nan had always disliked this Wei He. Seeing Wei He smile so happily made him feel disgusted. I am not familiar with you, yet you are smiling like a flower. Who are you showing this to? Xiao Chen smiled and replied, Indeed, it is quite a coincidence. It looks like Brother Wei He has already found companions. As the saying went, one would not slap a smiling person. Xiao Chen still knew how to put on a good show. Right. Let me introduce you. Wei He said enthusiastically, this is an outstanding disciple of the Lotus Sect Temple. This is the Flying Cloud Mountain Manor's Tuobayi. This is the Flying Snow Palace's young Master Yen. I have long heard of young Master Ye's great name. Brother Yi Bai, how about we travel together? We just discovered a place with baleful yin energy. The ferocious beasts guarding it are somewhat difficult to deal with. The Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun looked sincerely at Xiao Chen. Upon hearing that, Fei immediately felt tempted. Big brother Xiao Chen happened to need baleful yin energy. Just as Luo Nan was about to speak, Xiao Chen's voice projection rang out in Luo Nan's and Fei's ears. Prepare to attack. Don't ask too much. This group of people is preparing to kill us. Don't show any mercy. Don't show any changes in your expression. In the first place, Xiao Chen did not like Wei He. He already suspected it to be a coincidence that Wei He appeared out of nowhere. Now that he invited them, it was clear that they were going to kill them. The 5 of them had already absorbed a lot of baleful yin energy. Now, they needed 3 more people. How could it be so good? I understand. I find this group of people very displeasing, Luo Nan replied in secret. He also felt somewhat excited in his heart. This was his first time experiencing such a thing since he entered the world of cultivation. What? With Xiao Chen's reminder, Fei quickly startled awake. Then, she demanded angrily, how can this group of people be so vicious? After interacting with Xiao Chen for so many days, Fei already trusted Xiao Chen unconditionally. She was not stupid. After calming down and thinking for a while, she understood that something was wrong with these people. Listen to me later. I'll kill Wei He first. If the 2 of you work together, that Tuobayi should not be able to block you. As for Feng Yun, he was someone the 3 needed to kill as well. However, he was still useful to Xiao Chen and could not be the first target to be killed. The 3 quickly discussed and quickly decided on a countermeasure. Wei He and the others had ulterior motives and did not suspect anything. Feng Yun continued, What's wrong, Brother Yi? Are you not going to give us face? We are very sincere. Xiao Chen nodded and casually stepped forward. Then, he performed a cupped fist salute to Wei He and said, Sorry, Brother Wei He. I'm afraid I'll have to let down your kind intentions. Wei He smiled and said, Not at all, not at all. Brother Yi is really too polite. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. Let's work together. While Wei He smiled, he cursed in his heart. This little bastard is really shameless. He's so vigilant, why don't you just attack him directly? Do it. Wei He sent a voice projection, calling for the others to attack. However, the first to make a move was not them but Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen, who had already reached the most optimal position, did not give Wei He any time to react. He immediately used the sharp spirit finger to tap Wei He's forehead. The sharp spirit finger was Xiao Chen's unique secret technique. He used all the energy in his body to execute it with one finger. Xiao Chen used all the energy in his body and pointed with two cauldron force, the thunder domain, the ice domain, and the vast ocean-like veritable essence energy. All of them gathered at one point. Its might was so great that even a half-step primal core cultivator would find it hard to endure. Furthermore, Xiao Chen had taken advantage of the situation and occupied the most optimal position. Before the smile on Wei He's face faded away, his life force immediately vanished, and he fell over. There were no signs of him dying. Fei Er and Luo Nan had grown up in the sect. When they worked together, they did not have perfect coordination. The instant Xiao Chen made his move, they charged at Tuoba Yi together. What's going on? Feng Yun, young Master Yan, and the others revealed extremely horrified expressions. They had not made a move yet, but Yi Bai and the others charged over. Oh no! They saw through us. Don't hold back. Kill them. Their reactions could be said to be extremely fast. After their expressions changed drastically, they immediately displayed their strongest techniques. Flying snow filling the sky. The flying snow palace's young Master Yan waved his hand. Whoosh! Boundless visible icy chi directly encased Xiao Chen, and the temperature plummeted. The young Master Yan before them cultivated the will of ice pretty well. He had already condensed an innate ice crystal. Unfortunately, he was still somewhat weaker than Xiao Chen and had not comprehended a domain. Although Xiao Chen had not comprehended a domain, this flying snow filling the sky had many unique aspects. The snow filling the sky formed a great momentum, a momentum of winter arriving and sealing the world in ice. This was especially so when Xiao Chen's cultivation reached the Yin essence stage. The gentle baleful Yin energy in the flying snow made the flying snow even colder. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. It looked like the martial techniques of the outside world did indeed have many aspects worth praising. However, that was all. The other party had not mastered it and could not bring out the essence of this move. Lotus Flower Sword Art, Buddha's Rage. Feng Yun held his palms together and executed a sword art. A black sword light shot out of his palm. A strong wind immediately spread out, and lotus flowers danced around. A Buddhist voice roared in the sky, causing the might of this sword light to multiply. Ice domain, open. With a thought, the ice domain encased Xiao Chen for 1 kilometer around him. Young Master Yan's flying snow filling the sky immediately melted without a sound. As for that strand of sword light, Xiao Chen gently waved his hand, and the lunar shadow saber appeared. Without drawing the saber, Xiao Chen only gently rotated it, and the scabbard firmly blocked the other party's sword light. Xiao Chen, who had comprehended the saber great Tao, would feel like a child dancing with the sword when facing an opponent who had not comprehended the sword Tao, unless the opponent was much stronger than him. There were too many openings, and the sword move was unstable. If the Tao might leaked out, Xiao Chen could easily resolve it. This battle could not be said to be very intense. The enemy had lost 2 of their men in a single exchange. Then, Xiao Chen easily delayed 2 people, waiting for Luo Nan and Luo Nan to finish off their opponents. This resulted in a situation of 3 against 2. Wei He's group thought very well. In the end, Xiao Chen tricked them. Without much effort, under Xiao Chen's intentional control, only Feng Yun remained, holding on bitterly. Xiaochen wanted to capture this person alive. Chapter 1569. Wei He's group of 5 surrounded Xiaochen. At this moment, only Feng Yun was still fighting with Xiaochen, holding on bitterly. The Lotus Sect Temple was a subsidiary sect of the Black Lotus Church in the Purple Sun region. Although they did not have much contact with the Black Lotus Church, they should have some information about the Black Lotus Church. Feng Yun, who was fighting Xiaochen, felt miserable. The more he fought, the more fearful he felt. A sense of helplessness spread throughout his body. No matter what kind of strong martial technique he used, he could not pose a threat to Xiaochen. Xiaochen easily dealt with them. Feng Yun's cultivation approached the peak of the yin-yang realm. However, before Xiaochen, a veritable essence stage cultivator, he felt like he was being toyed with in the palm of his hand. This was especially so when Xiaochen drew his saber. Saber intent spread out in all directions, sealing off all of Feng Yun's escape routes. Lotus flower evasion. Seeing that he could not escape, Feng Yun suddenly vomited a large mouthful of blood. Then, his figure turned into tens of thousands of lotus flowers, scattering in all directions. Xiaochen looked around and found that the lotus flowers were hard to distinguish. He could not find any traces of the other party at all. He got away. Xiaochen felt somewhat depressed in his heart. Originally, he had been determined to obtain this Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun. However, Luo Nan said excitedly, 5 people surrounded 3 of us. We killed 4 of them, and only 1 managed to escape. It looks like these people are only a so-so. Fei Er said calmly, don't speak nonsense. If not for senior brother Yi by reminding us and taking the initiative, this battle would not have been so easy. This battle would not have been that easy. Xiaochen nodded and said, these 5 people are not too weak. If I got surrounded, I would not have been able to escape. This is Profound Yin Island's inner region. It is best to be more cautious. Senior brother Yibai, what should we do now? Fei Er asked as she looked at Xiaochen. Xiaochen entered deep thought. The 2 of you have each absorbed a complete strand of baleful Yin energy. You have surpassed the goal of this trip. I feel that we can return first. It will be safer there. Fei Er hurriedly said, no, senior apprentice brother Yi Bai, you haven't refined the baleful Yin energy yet. How can we leave? Besides, even if you find a way to refine the baleful Yin energy, we still have to protect you, right? Otherwise, what will you do if you are injured by the demonic beasts? Luo Nan did not say anything. Luo Nan was indeed embarrassed to ask Luo Nan to leave. Suddenly, Xiaochen's expression changed. He looked into the distance. The weak connection between him and Little Yellow Feather allowed him to sense that Little Yellow Feather was currently in the middle of a huge battle. Moreover, his condition didn't seem to be very good. Without thinking too much, Xiaochen quickly rushed over to the place where the incident happened. Fei Er and Luo Nan did not know what was going on, so they quickly followed behind. In the depths of the Profound Yin Island, there was a mountain range called the Profound Yin Mountain. Strange beasts roamed the mountain range, powerful and vicious. It was a forbidden land. Very few sect disciples would go to search for baleful Yin energy. There were too many ferocious beasts in that place. Most of the people who went did not return. At this moment, a giant bird with a golden luster was flying through the mountains. From time to time, it would let out an incomparably noisy cackle. Roar! The one that roared was a black ferocious beast that looked like a ferocious tiger, possessing the strength of a half-step primal core realm cultivator. Little Yellow Feather had stolen and eaten 1,000-leaf fruit that it had guarded for 500 years. When it roared, all the beasts in the mountains were startled and ran in panic. The sound waves snapped several large trees. Chi! Chi! On the ground, there was also a 1-kilometer-long snake spitting out its forked tongue as it looked coldly at the giant yellow bird in the sky. Everywhere it passed, cold chi penetrated 100 meters into the ground, directly turning the ground into frozen soil. The snake was very angry. This giant yellow bird had roasted and eaten the eggs in its nest. There was also a gargantuan golden-tailed eagle in the sky, closely following it. Upon closer inspection, one would discover that half of this golden-tailed eagle's feathers were charred. Aside from this, there were many ferocious beasts rushing over from the mountains. All of them were peak Yang essence stage ferocious beasts. A careful count showed that Little Yellow Feather had provoked at least 10 ferocious beasts. At this level, ferocious beasts were extremely intelligent. They raged, wishing that they could swallow this Little Yellow Feather alive. My goodness, I've gone a little too far this time. Although Little Yellow Feather could not speak yet, it had already gained intelligence. Its eyes looked around, and it was somewhat frightened. Little Yellow Feather had provoked too many ferocious beasts, so they surrounded it. Even so, Little Yellow Feather's nimble speed allowed it to dodge many attacks while surrounded. Sometimes, Little Yellow Feather even spat out flames, burning those ferocious beasts and making them cry out in pain. Every time this happened, even though the little fellow knew that it was dangerous, it could not help laughing cockily. When Xiaochen arrived before Profoundine Mountain, Fei and Luo Nan were stunned. Senior brother Yi Bai, this Profoundine Mountain is very dangerous. Before we come out, Master instructed us to absolutely not go in. Fei revealed a worried expression in her eyes. Luo Nan listened carefully. The ferocious roars of many terrifying ferocious beasts came from the mountain range. What's going on? The ferocious beasts in this mountain are very angry. Luo Nan felt somewhat startled and could not help taking a few steps back. Xiaochen thought for a while. Then, he gently pushed off with his feet and slowly soared into the air, flying towards Profoundine Mountain. Fei shook her head but followed after. Junior sister. Luo Nan gritted his teeth in frustration. However, he had no choice but to follow. Soon, the three saw the scene of 10 odd ferocious beasts surrounding and killing Little Yellow Feather. Luo Nan exclaimed in shock, "Damn! Where did this huge yellow-feathered bird come from? How arrogant!" Xiaochen replied calmly, "My spirit pet." When Luo Nan heard that, he exclaimed in shock, "Your spirit pet?" Fei asked directly, "Big brother Xiaochen, are you going to save it?" Xiaochen nodded. However, his expression was rather unsightly. This little fellow wanted it to go look for 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. After not seeing it for a few days, it created such a huge mess. Luo Nan said sullenly, "That is 10 odd ferocious beasts. There is even a half-step primal core realm ink flame tiger. Isn't that too risky? I can't care about that anymore. You all should back off first." Right after Luo Nan spoke, Xiaochen quickly descended. "Little human, what are you trying to do?" As soon as he finished speaking, several messages appeared in his mind. Xiaochen was not surprised. Ferocious beasts that had cultivated to this level would more or less have some intelligence. "It's my spiritual pet. I'm taking it away. If I've offended you in any way, I'm sorry." Fei and Luo Nan were greatly startled. Xiaochen, who had jumped down rashly, actually did not get eaten by this group of ferocious beasts. Berserk beasts had been honed in the cruel wild environment for a long time, and their instincts were the most accurate. When Xiaochen landed, the Yang Essence stage ferocious beast felt its heart palpitate and immediately hesitated. Even though he was infuriated, he did not make a move on the spot. "Bastard, it roasted my snake egg. How can I let it go? My old nest in the mountains has been burned down by it. I can't bear it. Scram, you must swallow it alive." A series of furious voice projections rang out in Xiaochen's mind, giving him a headache. Xiaochen turned his head and looked at Little Yellow Feather, who had already turned into an obedient bird. Then, he smiled and said, "I didn't realize that you have such talent in the past." Incredible. Little Yellow Feather puffed out its chest and flapped its wings, thinking that Xiaochen was praising it. "Little fellow, we ferocious beasts have an agreement with your sect. Profoundine Mountain is a forbidden land. If we don't go down the mountain to eat sect disciples, the sect will not interfere in our business. That half-step primal core realm ink flame tiger stepped forward and gave off a tyrannical air. Then, it continued sending a voice projection, "I'll give you two choices. The first is to obediently retreat, and we will pretend that we did not discover you. The second is to stay. We will eat your flesh and drink your blood to raise our cultivation." Chapter 1570. Roar. Xiao Chen's mockery immediately stirred up the violent ink flame tiger's temper. It roared ferociously and launched itself at Xiao Chen. The ink flame tiger moved very fast, tearing through space like a beam of black light, disappearing in a flash. Right after the ink flame tiger spoke, its gargantuan body appeared before Xiao Chen. This development startled Xiao Chen slightly. Unexpectedly, this ink flame tiger was so fast. In the time it took for a spark to fly, Xiao Chen executed the fish dragon art. In the blink of an eye, he left behind several afterimages on the ground. Ka xie. Ka xie. The afterimages shattered. When Xiao Chen retreated far away and found his footing, two crisscrossed claw marks appeared on his chest. Two crisscrossed claw marks appeared on his chest. Blood seeped through his white robe and dyed a large area red. Luo Nan exclaimed softly, "How did this fellow cultivate his physical body? To think that he only suffered superficial wounds from the ink flame tiger's attack." "Senior brother, what should we do now?" Fei paced around anxiously. She had a kind heart. When she saw Xiao Chen, who had helped her and her senior brother, in danger, she immediately started worrying. When Luo Nan heard this, he quickly pulled Fei behind him and took a few steps back. Then, he said, "At this moment, not interfering is the best help. His aura can suppress those young essence stage ferocious beasts. This already explains a lot. If we go down and help, those young essence stage ferocious beasts will immediately tear us to shreds. If we try to save us, we will end up distracting Xiao Chen. Believe in Xiao Chen. Since he dares to go down, he must be confident." Although Luo Nan was upset that his junior sister was so worried about Xiao Chen, he still did his best to calm Fei down for her sake. Below, Xiao Chen looked at the wound on his chest. Unexpectedly, the other party's claws were so sharp. They were much stronger than the golden-rimmed demon tone bat. Xiao Chen no longer dared to be careless. He needed to use his full power to deal with such a half-step primal core ferocious beast. When the other ferocious beasts saw the ink flame tiger rage, they did not dare to interfere. This was good. Since coming to the Great Thousand Realms, Xiao Chen had never truly fought at full power before. He would use this battle to test his own strength. Xiao Chen waved his left hand, and the lunar shadow saber appeared. Then, he looked up at the ink flame tiger and unleashed his Dao might. The ink flame tiger felt a wave of pressure, and it roared somewhat impatiently. The ferocious aura emitted from his body grew stronger and stronger. In the end, it turned into a thick black smoke that soared into the sky. This scene was immediately sensed by the guards of the Profound Een Island stronghold. The ferocious beasts of Mystic Een Mountain are on a rampage again. Should we go and take a look? What is there to see? Every year, there are people who are not afraid of death, wanting to go to the Profound Een Mountain. If the old monster of Mystic Een Mountain is provoked, then it will be a big problem. You're right, in Profound Een Mountain, Xiao Chen faced the ink flame tiger that had forced out all of its baleful aura. Feeling a trace of pressure, the might of the great Tao slowly condensed into a point. Roar! The roaring ink flame tiger roared at Xiao Chen and a berserk aura surged towards Xiao Chen. Tao! Xiao Chen said softly, and the great Tao energy that he condensed into a point soared up by 1 meter. Then, his aura clashed without fear. Boom! Amid loud sounds, the two berserk auras clashed, neither giving way to the other. Many ferocious beasts within 50,000 kilometers fled in panic. Countless birds soared into the air. Kill! Xiao Chen drew his saber and immediately charged out to deal with such ferocious beasts. There was no other way but to be even more ruthless than it, even more ferocious. After 20 years of experience in the Kunlun realm, the Emperor's Road, the demonic calamity, and the baptism of countless great battles, Shao Chen's killing chi was heavy and stable, far from what this ink flame tiger could compare to. In this clash, this ink flame tiger's baleful aura was actually slightly weaker than Shao Chen's. Rumble. Loud sounds rang out endlessly. One man and one beast fought in this mountain forest. Shao Chen used the flawless saber technique together with the yin-yang saber domain to support his great Tao energy. He did not need to use Dermic World or the Dragon Blood soul-breaking finger, just his saber techniques and strong physical body. He was evenly matched with the ink flame tiger, not at all inferior. His white robes were dyed red, and there were many wounds all over his body. However, his aura did not weaken in the slightest. The more they fought, the fiercer they became. The saber light flickered and reflected in his eyes. His eyes revealed a calm and ferocious look, startling the surrounding ferocious beasts. The ink flame tiger didn't have it easy either. Although it was a ferocious beast, it had the advantage of having thick skin and thick flesh. However, Shao Chen's saber energy was infused with great Tao energy, allowing it to permeate his body every time. This made it extremely uncomfortable, and many cracks appeared in its internal organs. Whoosh! The trembling man and beast moved away from each other. The ink flame tiger crawled on all fours, roaring continuously. Its ferocious nature had been completely stimulated. As it panted, black flames surged and danced all over its body. In the ink flame tiger's memory, there had never been such a ferocious sect disciple. Just at the veritable essence stage, he could force it into such a miserable state. If the ink flame tiger could not kill this white-clad bladesman today, it would not have a foothold in profound Yin Mountain in the future. Shao Chen stood upright while holding his saber. The ink flame tiger before him was harder to deal with than he imagined. Even in the Kunlun realm, few people would be able to break the defense of that fur. Furthermore, its speed was even faster than lightning. The other party's slender, streamlined body gave it a natural advantage in terms of speed. For a long time, Shao Chen had been very confident in his movement technique. However, his body was riddled with wounds of various sizes, all from the other party using speed to forcibly break through his saber light. However, everything was still within Shao Chen's control. He had not used any of his 4 trump cards yet. As long as he used any one of them, he could immediately turn the situation around. Chapter 1571. The 10,000-year-old Yin energy had been found? Shao Chen was delighted, but in the blink of an eye, he calmed down. Blondie had always been unreliable. Look at what it had done in the mysterious Yin Mountain. Roasting snake eggs, stealing spirit herbs guarded by others, burning bird nests. No matter how he looked at it, he couldn't be too convinced. Shao Chen asked suspiciously, "Is that place safe?" "Safe, very safe. There is only a small snake there," Ao Jiao said. Regardless of whether it was safe or not, he had to rest for a while and recover his yuan qi. After calling out to Fei Er and Luo Nan, Shao Chen found a quiet place and sat down to recover his exhausted essence. The battle just now could be said to be incomparably delightful. This also allowed Shao Chen to recognize his own strength. If he did not use his trump cards, he would be on par with a half-step primal core cultivator. It was hard to tell who would win. After all, half-step primal core realm cultivators were not like ferocious beasts. Their combat experience and intelligence were higher than ferocious beasts. No matter how ferocious a beast was, it could not be more dangerous than a human's heart. At the same time, Shao Chen also realized the shortcomings of his movement technique. He seemed to be invincible among his peers. However, when he ran into this ink flame tiger, he suffered greatly. The other party's straightforward attacks were truly fast to the point that he could not predict them. There were still many areas that needed to be improved upon. Movement techniques generally consisted of 2 points. One was speed, and the other was evasion. The fish dragon art mainly focused on changing one's surroundings, dodging within a small area. It was derived from the spirit fish of the immortal world and strengthened. The area that needed to be improved should be short-range ambushes, in other words, pure speed. Thoughts flashed through Xiao Chen's mind. The ink flame tiger leaped like thunder, launching surprise attacks faster than lightning. There were many things that could be used for reference. While Xiao Chen was recuperating and recovering his essence, Feng Yun, who had executed a life-saving evasion technique and turned into thousands of lotus leaves, was also on the other side. It was also at this moment that he revealed himself. His face was pale without a trace of blood, and his body was clearly much weaker than before. That life-saving escape technique obviously couldn't be used rashly, as the price would be unbearable. How unlucky, I actually used this life-saving escape technique in front of a true energy realm. Feng Yun leaned against the wall, touched his wound, and said weakly. At the same time, his mind was spinning. He had long recognized Xiao Chen as the person on the wanted list issued by the sect. Now, he seemed to understand why the sect had ordered him to keep a low profile when he saw this person. All Xiao Chen needed to do was report the exact location and wait for the Black Lotus Church's church master to personally send someone over. After all, the Black Lotus Church was not in this astral region. Even though they were separated by such a long distance, the black-faced sect leader still regarded Xiao Chen with such importance. It was clear that Xiao Chen was not an ordinary person. Initially, he was thinking of capturing Xiao Chen alive and bringing him back to the sect to claim the credit. But from the looks of it now, that was no longer possible. As long as he could return alive and report the news of Xiao Chen, everything would be fine. What is this place? It's so cold. Feng Yun looked around, tightened his clothes, and asked doubtfully. Back then, in order to escape for his life, he randomly chose a direction and flew for half a day. As a result, Feng Yun had no idea where he was now. There was a small river not far away. Strange. It is just ordinary river water. Why is the surroundings so frighteningly cold? Feng Yun startled awake. Only then did he discover that he was in an extremely remote place that he had never heard of before. After checking the river water, Feng Yun did not discover anything special. Just as Feng Yun was feeling bewildered, he stumbled and fell into the river. The rapid flow of the river swept him to the bottom of the river in an instant. A bone-chilling cold immediately froze Feng Yun's body. Oh no! I was already severely injured by Xiao Chen in the first place, so I risked my life to use an evasion technique. Injuries upon injuries, could it be that I, Feng Yun, am going to drown to death? In his daze, Feng Yun maintained a trace of consciousness, doing his best not to faint. PFFF. After some time, Feng Yun coughed a few times and spat out a large mouthful of cold water. It turned out that he had been washed to a shallow part of an underground river. In his fluster, Feng Yun quickly got up in a sorry state. After calming down and recovering some essence, Feng Yun's complexion improved significantly. He cautiously looked around and walked along the underground river. After a while, a surprised expression appeared on his face. Baleful Yin energy. Feng Yun felt an extremely dense baleful Yin energy. He had never come in contact with such strong baleful Yin energy before. Even from a distance, it sent chills down one's spine. When Feng Yun thought of a certain legend on Profound Yin Island, his body trembled in excitement. Could it be 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy? Even if it isn't, it should be several thousand years old. One who survives a great calamity is bound to have good fortune. Is this my fortuitous encounter? Just as Feng Yun was about to walk forward, he calmly stopped. No. Even if I were at my peak, it would be difficult for me to hunt for 1,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. Furthermore, in my current state, it might be 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. No matter how great a fortuitous encounter was, one had to be alive to enjoy it. Just me alone won't do. I have to work with others. They have to be the strongest of the sect disciples. Otherwise, no matter how many people come, they will all die. At this moment, many candidates appeared in Feng Yun's mind. For example, the Clear Feather sect's first senior brother, who was much stronger than Wei He. The flying snow palaces Lu Mu, the soaring cloud mountain manners Tuoba Yun, these were the disciples of the various major sects, the leaders of this trip to Profoundine Island. At this moment, they should be leading their junior brothers on an adventure. Aside from ensuring their own harvest, they also had the responsibility of taking care of their junior brothers. It's settled, then. After making up his mind, Feng Yun left behind a set of coordinates and quickly left. If 100 people absorbed 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy, it would be a great opportunity. He did not have to worry about sharing it with others. On the other side, Xiao Chen's group of 3, who had rested, quickly moved about under Little Yellow Feather's lead. Luo Nan exclaimed excitedly, "Is it really 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy? This is a great opportunity." Fei rolled her eyes at Luo Nan and said, "Why are you so excited? Just protect Big Brother Xiao Chen later. Don't get any ideas about the 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. Big Brother Xiao Chen already found 1,000-year-old baleful Yin energy for us. This is already a rare opportunity." When Xiao Chen heard that, he smiled. He rather liked Fei Er's character. She was pure, naive, and knew how to be grateful. As for Luo Nan, although Xiao Chen was disrespectful to Luo Nan, that was only because he was jealous. Luo Nan's character was not that bad. With the two of them protecting him, Xiao Chen felt much more at ease. "Xiao Chen, why do you not seem anxious at all?" Luo Nan asked, finding it strange when he saw Xiao Chen's calm expression. Even an outsider like Luo Nan felt extremely excited about the 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. To think that Xiao Chen remained calm, his mental state like a 1,000-year-old ancient lake. "If one day, you experience as much as I did, you will be like me," Xiao Chen said calmly with a faint smile. Luo Nan's lips twitched as he said, "You make it sound like you experienced a lot of things." "Oh, right, where did your yellow-feathered bird get its spirit pet?" "I don't know what kind of bird it is. It is very skinny and unprepossessing, but it is very arrogant. To think that you actually managed to find 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy for it." Boom! Right after Luo Nan spoke, a flame flew over. Caught off guard, half of Luo Nan's hair burned off. This startled Luo Nan. He jumped up and down, putting in a lot of effort before he managed to extinguish the flame. "Junior sister, don't stop me. Today, I have to teach this yellow-feathered bird a lesson." In the blink of an eye, half of Luo Nan's hair was burned off. A charred smell spread from his head, and white smoke rose. Luo Nan was so frustrated that he felt like exploding. Fei who was currently tidying Luo Nan's hair, smiled and said, "Senior brother, I'm not stopping you. However, that bird dares to provoke 10 odd ferocious beasts. Are you sure you want to seek trouble with it?" "Hey," Big Brother Xiao Chen stopped. "We should have reached the place. Let's quickly go and take a look." Under Little Yellow Feather's guidance, the 3 entered the river and sank along with it. Gurgle. Water splashed everywhere, and 3 bodies emerged from the river. They were so cold that they shivered. Xiao Chen closed his eyes and sensed for a while. When he opened them again, he looked at the dark, unknown land in front. Then, he said, "It is indeed 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. Its hiding place is really well hidden." Chapter 1572. There was a pitch-black cave entrance at the end of the underground river. The dense baleful Yin energy came from there. When the two walked to the cave entrance, a berserk baleful Yin energy had already formed. The fierce wind was like a knife, and even the wind contained a cold and bleak Yin chi. Standing at the entrance of the cave. Standing at the cave entrance, Luo Nan and Fei felt the pressure. If not for the fact that they had already advanced to the Yin essence stage and absorbed the 1,000-year-old baleful Yin energy, it would have been very difficult for them to enter. "Big Brother Xiao Chen, the baleful Yin energy here is very strong. Be careful in front." Fei found it somewhat difficult to speak. Walking was even more strenuous. "Junior sister, are you alright?" Luo Nan looked worriedly at Fei as he shielded her. Suddenly, the pressure on the two lessened. They felt that the baleful yin energy in the wind had weakened significantly, becoming nearly negligible. It turned out that Xiao Qin had blocked the Dao might that he sent out alone. This startled Luo Nan. As he looked at Xiao Qin in front, he vaguely saw a disk of light shining behind him. Even in the dark night, it did not look very conspicuous. However, that weak light deterred Luo Nan from looking at it directly. It felt like a saber light pierced their eyes. It's that light again. What kind of martial technique is that? Or is it some kind of realm? It feels like there are traces of saber intent in it, but it is not complete. What exactly are the origins of this Xiao Qin? When fighting the Ink Flame Tiger, Xiao Qin had released his Dao Might once, instantly suppressing the berserk aura of the Ink Flame Tiger. Now, Xiao Qin released his Dao Might again, reducing the pressure on the two. This startled Luo Nan. Hee. Big brother Xiao Qin is really incredible. Senior brother, let's leave some restrictions here to prevent others from barging in. Oh. Luo Nan withdrew his gaze and nodded somewhat absent-mindedly. Then, he and Fei left a formation at the entrance. The Tianyi sect had some accumulations in formations. These two were pretty skilled in them. Xiao Qin looked back from a distance. He felt that the restrictions the two left were much stronger than what he learned from Emperor Wu. The Great Thousand Realms martial Dao inheritances were much stronger than the Kunlun realms. And this was only a first-grade sect. How strong would a second-grade sect or a third-grade sect be? What kind of existence was Ancestor Dragon City, where Lu Ryue was? Xiao Qin turned his head around and looked ahead cautiously. He did not see the small snake that Little Yellow Feather mentioned. He wanted it to come out and give it some instructions, but no matter what, Little Yellow Feather refused to come out. It did not like this kind of cold environment. Luo Nan, who was laying the formation, appeared somewhat distracted as he looked at Fei's face. He and his junior sister had entered the Tianyi sect at the same time. He had fallen in love with this junior sister the moment he first learned to love her. However, junior martial sister Fei was kind-hearted and beautiful. She had countless suitors in the sect. Among them, there were many senior brothers who were more outstanding than him. Fortunately, his junior sister never agreed and even kept a certain distance from those people. This made his inferiority complex feel a little better, and he even felt a little happy. At the very least, his junior martial sister liked being with him. However, after Xiao Qin came out, everything changed. Luo Nan repeatedly spoke rudely to Xiao Qin, even mocking him. However, due to the sense of danger in his heart, Luo Nan felt that he was inferior to the other party in every aspect. His junior martial sister seemed to be overly concerned about Xiao Qin. The most important thing was that Luo Nan discovered that he was indeed inferior to Xiao Qin. Furthermore, he was far from it. Be it mental state, strength, or bearing, junior sister, I have something to say to you, Luo Nan, who was laying the formation, suddenly said to Fei. Fei was somewhat busy and did not raise her head. Senior brother, what do you want to say? Do you feel that I am very useless compared to Xiao Qin? Luo Nan asked softly after he drummed up his courage, blushing somewhat. Fei stopped what she was doing and looked up with a serious expression. Senior brother, why would you have such a thought? Luo Nan did not know how to answer. He could not say a single word of the words he had already organized in his mind. Fei smiled strangely and asked, Senior brother, what are you trying to say? Luo Nan endured the conflict in his heart and remained silent for a while. Then, he said softly, I feel that junior sister and Xiao Qin are quite compatible. The moment Luo Nan said that, he no longer dared to look at Fei's expression. The smile on Fei's face immediately vanished, and she turned cold. Is this what senior brother wants to say to me? When Luo Nan heard this, he felt that something was wrong. He raised his head and said, No, what's wrong? Nothing. I don't want to speak. Fei remained silent, not saying anything more. After that, the two remained silent. Fei did not say anything either. This made Luo Nan feel strangely empty. However, he did not know what to say. He did not know how he had angered his junior sister. After traveling for 1.5 kilometers, the baleful winds grew increasingly stronger. Xiaoqin turned his head and said, "Luo Nan and Fei the two of you stay here. Don't advance any further. We will see the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy soon." Fei nodded, surprisingly not saying anything in response. Instead, Luo Nan said, "Go on, then. The two of us will stand guard here. We guarantee that nothing will disturb you from absorbing the baleful yin energy." Xiaoqin felt that the two were behaving strangely. However, this should be a private matter, so it was not convenient for him to say too much. Xiaoqin nodded gently and expressed his thanks. After some thought, Xiaoqin got little yellow feather to come out and stand guard here. It was better to be safe than sorry. Nothing could go wrong while absorbing the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy. Otherwise, Xiaoqin would not be able to endure the backlash. The 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy drew closer. Although his vision was obstructed, Xiaoqin could sense that it was not far away. After a while, Xiaoqin raised his Dao might to the peak. Then, he endured the vast baleful winds. Xiaoqin saw a 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy hidden on a stone platform at the end of the somewhat dark space. That baleful yin energy was very dense and frighteningly black. It looked somewhat like some of the black whirlpools that Xiaoqin had seen in the starry heavens. As the whirlpools spun, strands of black light spread out in the surroundings like lightning. This formed an isolation zone, protecting the baleful yin energy. The black baleful yin energy spun like a hurricane in the quiet space. Suddenly, two clumps of green flames lit up in the hurricane. The glossy green light was like a pair of sinister eyes, making Xiaoqian's heart tremble. According to rumor, this baleful yin energy already gained some intelligence. Could it be true? Whoosh! A black light flashed, and the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy burrowed into the ground. The answer went without saying. The 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy used its reaction to tell Xiaoqin the truth of the rumor. "You want to leave? How can it be that easy? Xiaoqin had worked so hard to get here." Naturally, he would not let it slip away. A divine weapon shot out, and an intense explosion rang out where the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy originally was. The ground exploded, and dirt flew everywhere. The 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy was blasted out. Boom! 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 Explosions rang out continuously. Every time the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy tried to flee, Xiaoqin forced it out. No matter how fast the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy fled, it was not as fast as Xiaoqian's saber light. Xiaoqian's spiritual sense spread out into the surroundings. He grasped the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy's every move. Although this 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy had a ferocious nature, it also gained intelligence. However, its intelligence had not matured yet. Compared to Xiaoqin, it was just like a child. "You can't escape." Xiaoqin smiled faintly, and his Taiji saber domain spread out, encasing everything within 10 kilometers. The 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy turned into an incredibly pitch-black clump of light moving about chaotically. However, the saber domain encased the surroundings, making it like an impenetrable fortress, preventing it from burrowing into the ground. "Dao!" Xiaoqin called out softly. Then, he gathered the great Dao's might in one direction and pressed it towards the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy. The great Dao's might was like a formless mountain range, suppressing the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy in a certain direction, greatly reducing its mobility. As Xiaoqin approached, the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy's range of movement shrank. "Gather!" Finding an opportunity, Xiaoqin focused the great Dao's might on one point. Then, he took a step forward and completely suppressed the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy with his aura. The black baleful yin energy spun wildly, sending out many blade-like strong winds. It was obvious that he was furious. The strong winds also carried traces of sinister electric light. When one touched it gently, one would feel pain in one's finger. The 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy hid in a corner, looking like a porcupine covered in thorns as it glared at Xiaoqian. Xiaoqian entered deep thought. This 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy is really not easy to deal with. The other baleful yin energy were not as crafty and nimble. However, there was some risk in absorbing and refining it. If not for Xiaoqian having some means, he might not have been able to subdue it. The energy of the thunder domain gathered in Xiaoqian's palm and merged with the ice domain. Then, a drop of dragon blood came out of his palm. When the three energies merged, Xiaoqian ferociously smashed his palm down, producing a loud sound. Under the suppression of absolute strength, all the lightning and wind blades that shot out shattered. This strike thoroughly injured the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy. Furthermore, with the suppression of the Tao's might, it weakened significantly. Xiaoqian took this opportunity to open his hand and ferociously suck, swallowing the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy into his body. The berserk energy immediately surged about in his body, becoming like a wild horse galloping about, berserk and hard to tame. The rest would depend on Xiaoqian's ability to refine, absorb, and advance to the yin essence stage. At the same time, Feng Yun led a group of unwelcome guests underground. Chapter 1573. As expected of the Clear Feather sect's senior brother Feng. Your mental strength is much stronger than ours. Feng Yun heaved a sigh of relief and quickly flattered the other party. Some people would die from eating too much, while others could perfectly digest and replenish themselves after eating too much. The few of them were in high spirits and did not pay too much attention to it. His strength and talent were much higher than Wei He's. It's a restriction. Feng Yun frowned slightly and said faintly, the method of setting up this formation is not simple. It seems that someone else came in ahead of us. The flying snow palace's Lu Mu's face sank. A trace of murderous intent flashed in his eyes as he said furiously, Feng Yun, are you messing with us? Just this alone was enough to keep him busy. He could not afford to be distracted at all. The Clear Feather sect's Feng Yun nodded and said, that's right. There's no need to have any objections. The energy contained in the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy is something that the four of us cannot completely absorb even after using all our strength. There's no need for any disputes or schemes. It's fine as long as we are of one mind. Lu Mu's eyes were sharp. He asked in a deep voice, Brother Feng Yun, what's wrong? It was Feng Yun again. This fellow from the Lotus Sect Temple was really like a ghost that refused to go away. That seems to be the case. The other two also noticed it after carefully sensing it. Xiaoqian's spiritual sense was much stronger than Fei Er's and Luo Nan's mental energy. He could grasp every movement around him. Among them, the black demonic ape was the strongest, an early-stage primal core cultivator. As for the other two ferocious beasts, they were comparable to the ink flame tiger that Xiaoqian had fought earlier. Little Yellow Feather stuck its head out from Luo Nan's side and looked around, showing that something was wrong as well. The two-headed hound and the blue lion transmitted their voices to each other. He had reached a crucial moment in refining this 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy. If he was not careful, he might explode and die. Feng Yun hid his smile and said, it's nothing. It's just that Yi Bai is not easy to deal with. I feel that we should be more cautious. That's right. He won't be able to swallow the 10,000-year-old baleful yin energy alone. If he doesn't know his place, I don't mind killing him as well. At this moment, the yin spectre sensed the fluctuation of Xiaoqian's heart. Taking advantage of this opportunity, it actually broke free from Xiaoqian's restraints and forcefully entered Xiaoqian's sea of consciousness. However, Feng Yun's strength is indeed the strongest among the three, so Feng Yun's first target is him. If he didn't have a certain level of strength, how could he be so trusted? Not to mention, if he was disturbed by an attack, the refinement would definitely fail, and he might even lose his life here. As he spoke, a hint of arrogance flashed between his brows. It was obvious that while he acknowledged Yi Bai, he was also extremely confident in his own strength. In front of the 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy, this bit of risk was completely worth taking, and could even be said to be nothing. If he had known this would happen, he would have used his trump card right away, not giving the other party a chance to escape. Perhaps, such a thing would not have happened. Ha, Brother Wang, don't make things difficult for Brother Feng Yun. We have to thank Brother Feng Yun for sharing the information about this place with us. Just as the four of them entered the formation, water splashed out from the underground river behind them, and 3 ferocious beasts leaped out. The 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy contained an enormous amount of energy. Furthermore, it had gained sentience, making it even more difficult to deal with. At this moment, the Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun had a flushed complexion and a smile on his face. He was in a very good mood as he led the 3 peak Yin essence stage cultivators along the underground river. To think that this ferocious baleful Yin energy would fight to the death, turning from guest to host, wanting to directly swallow up Xiao Chen's soul and possess Xiao Chen. Tuoba Yun smiled and said, "It is just one Yi Bai. How can he scare the 3 of us? At worst, we'll just kill Luo Nan and his junior sister, and the few of us can split the 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy. Could it be that the person who came cannot even kill Lord Jiao Snake?" The one who spoke was the Clear Feather Sect's Fang Yun, Wei He's senior brother, the leader of the Clear Feather Sect disciples this time. Feng Yun's mental state experienced some disturbance, causing some fluctuations. Lu Mu smiled and said, "I was just saying it casually. Brother Feng Yun already made a vow. How can I doubt you?" Suddenly, Feng Yun's expression changed slightly. He raised his hand to stop Lu Mu. "Wait a moment." The moment Feng Yun's group of 4 stepped into the formation, Xiao Chen, who was anxiously refining the 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy, sensed it. This was the advantage of having deep accumulations. The group of 4 advanced along the underground river. Soon, they felt the cold, sinister wind, and they immediately revealed smiles on their faces. It has been more than 100 years. Lord Jiao Snake has not allowed any ferocious beasts to approach this place. Why did it send us here to kill people today? Something is wrong. Feng Yun stopped walking and said doubtfully, "This sinister wind is much weaker than when I arrived. The difference is like heaven and earth. It is completely different from when I first arrived." Yi Bai was strong enough, but the 3 of them were not weak either. Their cultivations were even higher than Yi Bai's. The Clear Feather Sect's Feng Yun said quickly, "Don't get agitated. No matter what, Brother Feng Yun would not have the guts to trick the 3 of us at the same time. It should not be fake. Most importantly, I did sense lingering baleful Yin energy. It is very dense and strong." The black demonic ape said indifferently, "Don't overthink. Lord Jiao Snake is an existence that can speak directly with those sect elders. It definitely would not let us make a move against someone it cannot deal with. It must have some reservations." What was impossible about that? Little Yellow Feather was the one who found this place first. He just happened to find it. Inside the formation at the cave entrance, of course, people like Xiao Chen, who possessed the bloodline of the Great Desolate 100 races and possessed incredibly deep accumulations, would definitely be different. What a hidden place. This place is already very desolate and desolate in the first place. Most people would not come here. To think that there is a hidden place under the river, a completely different world. The Clear Feather Sect's Feng Yun nodded and said in agreement, "A major primal core realm cultivator's judgment cannot be wrong. That Yi Bai is definitely not easy to deal with. However, since we are already here, there is no reason for us to retreat." Feng Yun was bold and skilled. He immediately led the way into the formation. Everyone was entrusted with heavy responsibilities by their sect, having the responsibility of protecting their juniors. Luo Nan sensed for a while, and his expression changed slightly. "It's Feng Yun, Tuoba Yun, Lu Mu, and the Lotus Sect Temple's Feng Yun." Aside from Feng Yun, none of them were people that the 3 of them could deal with. What? The 3 were startled, finding this somewhat strange. He was the Soaring Cloud Mountain Manor's Tuoba Yun. His physical body, movement technique, and leg techniques were exceptionally strong. His thoughts were boundlessly chaotic, and it was hard for his mental state to fluctuate. What's wrong? The three looked at Feng Yun. The last person, a stout man, smiled boldly and said in a magnanimous manner. After walking a few more kilometers, they arrived at the entrance of the cave. Then, their expressions turned grave. There was a standing black demonic ape, a two-headed ferocious dog, and a gigantic blue lion. Whoosh! 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 At the mention of Yi Bai's name, an uncontrollable fear flashed on Feng Yun's face, and his body shrank back slightly. However, just these alone were not enough to cause Xiao Chen's mental state to fluctuate. Feng Yun's expression changed dramatically. That's impossible. Feng Yun's heart immediately sank. He could not afford to offend any one of these three people. With the strength of these three, it would not be an exaggeration to say that they were among the top 3 of the 100-odd elite disciples. Fei Er said somewhat anxiously, "This is not good. They are all difficult people to deal with. It is indeed a completely different world. Who could have imagined that there would be a hidden path at the bottom of the river? Brother Feng Yun, how did you find this place back then? Was it really a coincidence?" The main thing was that the other three were very strong. Even with the help of the formation, Fei Er and Luo Nan would find it hard to deal with them. Squeak! Squeak! Since the two had promised Xiao Chen, they definitely could not retreat. If that happened, the situation would be extremely dangerous. If the two left, Xiao Chen could still feel at ease. However, if they died protecting him here, he would not be able to feel at ease. They were like thousands of wild horses that needed to be tamed one by one. Feeling vexed, Luo Nan pushed Feng Yun to the side and said, "You little bird, stop causing trouble. Go and play with fire." Feng Yun quickly explained, "I really had a fortuitous encounter with this place. I only discovered it by chance after a series of accidents." The other person at the side, the Flying Snow Palace's Lu Mu, looked at Feng Yun with some suspicion. "Right. Let's not delay any further. If we complete Lord Jiao Snake's task, we will definitely be heavily rewarded." The three strong ferocious beasts stopped communicating and carefully walked forward. It looks like the Tianyi sex formation. It should be senior brother and junior sister Luo Nan and the Yi Bai. The Flying Cloud Mountain Manners Tuoba Yun analyzed after checking. However, they could only feel anxious now. The 10,000-year-old baleful Yin energy contained incredibly vast baleful Yin energy. "Come, let's break the formation together." The hearts of Luo Nan and Fei Er, who were in a cold war, sank. They exchanged glances at the same time. "Someone is coming."